boop. Turn on the stream. Wait, keeping everyone waiting, man. That was me. I was late. I was making coffee, and then I spilled it on myself, and I was like, "Fuck! Well, I'm not gonna not have coffee. I had to make more coffee."
Well, that's okay. I also had to have lunch.
That's fair. Yeah, I made myself some Dominoes real quick, and then ate that pre-micro, I guess, toaster oven some Dominoes and stuff. Second has passed.
I was about to say you made yourself some Dominoes. That doesn't seem right.
I know, yeah. Oh man. Alrighty, we are live now. Well, let's see who's here. Good Dr. P, Dipson, Ceres, Jazzle, what's going on? How are we doing? Oh man. All right. Well, this is what, number 3, I think? Because yeah, this is number 3, podcast number 3, where we just grab random people from different walks of, I would say, the gotcha space, and we talk about Enfield and judge it, basically. No. And then we get off topic and then ramble on about random things that I always forget about all the time. And so, we have a good time, at least. We try to. So today we have some returning people. We have some newer people and stuff like that. So we'll start off with Fleur. Fleur, how you doing?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me on. How's it going?
Great. It's great to have you on. And then you've been around, I would say, the gotcha space, well, obviously way longer than all of us and stuff like that, and especially in the Star Rail.
Yeah, I mean, Dragnus has actually been around a little bit longer than I have, because he's the one that got me into gotchas with Fate Grand Order, like, what, 8 years ago?
Damn,
7 years ago? Something like that?
I think it was longer than that.
You got him addicted to gotcha?
I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Good God. Cursed him, man. You cursed him.
I have cursed a number of people at this point.
That's funny. Hell yeah! And then I've been seeing, obviously I checked your channel, and you were doing Endfield, but you also do a lot of Star Rail as well. And
definitely.
I would say like that's probably your primary game per se.
Yeah, I mean I've done like a one-off video on the original Arknights actually, and then I also did a one-off video on Wuthering Waves. But other than that, it's mostly been HSR up until Enfield released.
Okay.
But I've been looking forward to Endfield since it was announced, like 3-4 years ago, whenever it was. So
I think it was about 3.
Yeah.
So
definitely been super excited for the game to be out and then being able to play it now. So
hell yeah, yeah. I just came aware of the game in like beginning of last year, and I was like, holy shit, this looks cool. I want to play it, and then that's what got me into Arknights, funny enough, and stuff like that. But yeah. Cool. Appreciate having on. And then rolling on to our next person, we have Soul. How are you doing, Soul?
Hey, I'm doing good. I got sleep right before this because of the video. Just like in 4:30 in the morning.
Oh yeah, that
as gotchas do.
So early, almost unnecessarily early. But
all gotchas decide to do that early morning stuff because I think it's because they cater to the CN side.
That's true. And you kind of do a lot of different, well, not even just gotcha, because like you have Sternova and then CZN as well, and then obviously Arknights and now Enfield and some ZZZ. And you're kind of all over the space.
I do a variety of things. I've been falling more into the Enfield line nowadays, though. Trying to do a little more focus.
Yeah. I understand that. Totally understand that.
Still I've been looking forward to this game as well for a while. As almost 6 years, or no, more than 6 years, OG Arknights player now.
Holy shit. Yeah, I mean, because didn't you just have was it just the 6-year anniversary or the 7-year anniversary? I forget.
I think the recent one was 6.
Right? Yeah, 6. Yeah, I mean, I feel like everyone's been pretty hyped for this. Did I click on the wrong title for this damn thing? Almost like someone in chat said something. And now I need to check out if I fucking clicked on the wrong title. Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, no, I think I know what they mean.
Yeah. Oh, man. What's up, Kinhara? Cool. Appreciate having you on. Really do. And then obviously returning is Drac. What's up? Back again.
Hello. Now with my beautiful face on the screen.
Hell yeah. Nice. What are all those boxes back there? What are those boxes? What's in the boxes?
So those boxes there are like the big brown ones are actually empty boxes because I'm an audiophile and I keep the boxes for all of my audio equipment.
Jesus.
And then every other box is Warhammer because I am a plastic addict, along with being a gacha addict and a Magic the Gathering addict.
Jesus. So you're telling me you have no money?
I budget. It's the only way to make it work.
Make an attempt, basically. Oh man, hell yeah! Well, I'm glad you're back. Obviously, you're still working. You're doing. I've been hearing you've been working with a lot of the lore guys and stuff like that. More projects on the way. Excited. I'm excited.
I have 2 of my own projects in the works. One is in the editing and one is in scripting, and then I also am doing research for a Terrastorian project that I'm probably not supposed to talk about yet, so I'll be hush-hush on that.
We're gonna be quiet about that. We can't spoil that. No spoilers. This is a note. Remember, this is the Dead Islands channel. We don't spoil. Hell yeah. So cool. That's and then obviously I'm here as usual. But that is the crew for today. And what we're probably gonna be covering. I actually didn't type out any real proper like things we wanted to talk about. Originally, I was like, oh, I'll make together a list. And then we had the devlog that just dropped this morning, which I was live for. I woke up at like 5 in the morning. I tried to wake up at 5, and then I woke up 5 minutes before it was supposed to go live, and I was like, fuck. But we watched that, and we're going to talk about that instead. And then obviously, have some other things. We're going to talk about combat because I would say, Fleur, you have put out some guides for combat. And then
a little bit, yeah.
Soul, you've been working on some guides for combat, which you've told me about as well. And I would say what are you, the ice guy? The ice man, as some would say?
I'm more shatter than specifically ice.
Shatter, okay. Cool.
Yeah, he showed me some of that some of the shatter comps he has. Multiple shatter comps.
I have 5 already set up.
Oh, do you have 5 shatter comps? With not even
because of how versatile it is.
How many ice characters do we have? Well, like 4, I think, or something like that.
And 2 of them aren't even useful for that comp.
Oh my god!
Exactly.
That's crazy. Holy shit!
I still don't have a single limited character.
I feel that.
Wait a minute.
Same here. Oh, all right. I don't like.
I've been purposely doing that though.
Sitting down.
Okay.
And then obviously I don't do guides because I'm stupid. And that takes a lot of work that I'm not good at. And so we just wing it. I haven't watched any guide videos for Endfield. I've just been kind of like, fuck it, we ball. But I'm also the type of person, I'm a gamer that goes, all right, I'm going to get in this game like MMOs, and you just watch guides, like beginner's guides. And then Endfield, I was like, I don't need to watch a guide. And now I'm like, not even at willing yet, and I'm taking my sweet ass time because I'm like, I have to know everything and stuff, and I have to check if everything's important or if I'm not forgetting something. So I'm just fucking slow as shit right now instead of focusing on the important things. So I'm still playing catch up.
Should definitely
feel like
catch
that's
up
the way to
before
do it,
1.1 comes out.
Mm-hmm. So
and luckily you've gotten past the hard part.
That's true. Did we get a date for 1.1? Or was it
most likely after Yvonne's banner?
Yeah, they didn't announce the date directly, but you can put 2 and 2 together when you look at the dates for like the banners that they showed off, plus when the last banner is ending. So I think it's pretty clear. They're just gonna roll right in.
Yeah, because where was that image? Someone posted it in the chat. It was like the run, or y'all did actually. Let's let me find it. It was the rundown of everything they had talked about. Let me follow this link real quick. Over here.
For Tang Tang's banner, they have it set as version release until March 29th, so they still didn't even say it there.
March. So, oh god.
I like Dr. P's last message on that. Yep.
Hey, Dr. P, be careful over there. Yeah. So I don't like what. So March 29th, really, or maybe not. Like,
no, that would be when it ends.
That's when it ends.
Yeah. So. Version release.
I think that's the first banner end, right? Or is that actually
that's Tang Tang's end.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah.
We got Mr. Roboto over here. No.
I mean, Supa wasn't much better when we were talking to him.
Yes, Mr. Robotnik. The AI is taking control. Fight back, Soul. Oh. Are you there? Oh no, he's still.
I'm.
Talk with me.
Is it on my end?
You're good. I think you're good now.
Yeah, you sound
Oh,
fine now, but you were roboting.
Oh, okay. I just decided to have a hiccup because I thought your stream was lagging. I'm like, oh, that's apparently just me.
Oh no, no, yeah, so what were you saying? Sorry.
They're lasting longer than 1.1.
Oh no.
Oh
Can't
no,
do
the robot is just taking over. Doesn't give him a chance. He's gone again. All right, hold on a second. We'll get back with you. We'll get back with you. So, I don't know why the robots are taking over. Oh man, completely frozen.
It's that Comcast internet.
Maybe.
I don't have Comcast.
There you go. All right, one more time. Third time's a charm. Let's hear it again.
Well, last attempt. I hope. Don't do it again. I was saying that the 1.1 banners are lasting longer than 1.0 banners.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, because 1.0 banners they were like
15
21 days,
2
weren't
weeks.
2 weeks.
they? Or were they only 14?
I was pretty sure they were 2 weeks.
So, I'm pretty sure the season or whatever, the battle pass is 45 days long, and each of them covered a 15-day window period. I believe I could be wrong. Almost a 15-day window period between each
I mean, that sounds about right.
one of those, because we had 3 characters, 45 days in a season, and then the end of the season lines up perfectly with the end of Avon's banner.
I'm double checking right now.
Dr. Pitt did say 14 days for 1.0.
Okay, so that's what's interesting is we're just extending the banner time, which is kind of funny. It's what's the word I'm looking for? Usually there's kind of like a rule set with the gotcha of like, okay, if they do this, if they're extending banners and shortening banners as they progress, because that's what the question I had. I was like, okay, so we're getting 2 characters for 1.1, but it's still going to be 45 days. It's going to be about 45 days long for the whole patch, usually is my expectation. But we only have 2 characters. So how much time are they going to take up? Are we going to have a dead window, or are they just going to extend their period? Or, no way we're doing reruns this early, but I guess they're extending. So what is that? Like 22 and a half days or 22 days basically for each character?
Yeah, I assume that because 1.0 was just like so large, they were able to fit 3 banners in with how much stuff there was. And then like now that we're going into like a more modernized like setup for patches, it's going to be only 2 characters.
It makes
the other speculation that I heard is that the reason they did 3 and 1.0 is so that each of the characters could have their the extra limited time on the banners. It's like that weird mechanic where they last longer after their banner is over.
Yeah. I know
So by having 3 banners in the first patch, each of the characters got that.
Yeah.
But that's just what I heard.
So
I think there's also a chance that we're going to do 2 for these like in between patches and then 3 for the final patch, because we've seen 5 previewed characters from the last live stream. Was it 6?
Yeah, it was 6.
Did I miscount? Okay, I miscounted. All right.
Yes.
So there's Mifu, there's the I'm terrible at names. Zhuang
Mifu,
Fei, or however you say it.
Rossi,
Rossi,
we have
right.
Tong Tong, and we have the male, and then the white-haired girl that we saw in the
video
today.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also the wasn't there one in the power plateau? I forget her name.
The
one
power
that kind of
plateau
looked
one
like
was
Tallulah.
well, she hasn't been shown in any of the preview. We've seen her in game, but she hasn't been shown off as being a banner character anytime soon.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. We're probably not going to see her for a while.
I would imagine it'll be a while.
Because Fleur, we're talking about, there was a preview image that was shown that revealed what the next upcoming characters were going to be.
I got you.
See if I can
Yeah.
find it. It was from their like initial release stream, right? I think. Or,
Yeah,
think it was.
Lycia.
Yeah, I know what you guys
Like-
are talking about now. Okay.
Yeah. Fleur
I thought you
was
were just talking about
Lycia.
characters we've seen in general.
Nah. Just the 6 silhouettes, which leads me to believe that 1.2 is probably going to be Mifu and Fungi.
Probably.
Yeah. I can
Or
see that.
or they're going to hold off on Feng Yi and release the white-haired girl.
Also possible. And that actually would have a decent chance of happening, considering what the story was showing, where she's actively releasing that Liberi to us to utilize as an operator. Like, that was stated in the stream, so
Yeah,
that seems likely.
I also feel like Feng Yi and Mifu are probably going to be the same element, so putting them back to back would be really odd.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I'm a little. We'll have to see, because I have a feeling that they're gonna do something along the lines of, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of how Wuwa had it, and in sense where it's you have your larger patches and you have filler patches, larger patches, filler patches, and like we're still getting like content, but like the larger patches are here's the ultra big new zone with a massive change in direction and story and huge content updates and stuff like that. And like the video they posted was good. Like they hit a lot of the QL that was needed and stuff like that, even though they pushed off some of the QL to like 1.2. And I was like, okay, guys, get that fucking QL a bit quicker than 1.2. But and it kind of met our expectations. I was a little I did have the little no 5 stars, but other than that, it wasn't too bad.
I was about to say, I saw in the chat there, someone mentioned wanting 5 stars, and I had the exact same thought. Like, is it only going to be 6 stars from now on? No 5 stars ever?
Yeah.
I'm hoping that's not the case.
I mean, with this game, it's going to be a weird amalgamation of basically Genshin, Wuwa, and Arknights. As in, like, not the style, but as in the, what's the word I'm looking for? Mechanics? No, systems and stuff. I feel like is like this weird middle ground between Arknight systems and the mainstream gacha systems mixed together and stuff like that. Is what I've noticed is we've done a lot, and a lot of people are not fucking happy with that. So we'll see how this goes, to be honest. They didn't really address the economy. Like they sort of did. They were like, "Here's some."
They kind of did with the standard pulls.
The standard pulls, but they were not
There's
repeatable.
the weapon pull currency. I think is the thing that they address the most with the standard pulls.
You're right. I did see that, and
Yeah, that's because what else are you going to use your standard banner pulls on? A lot of people with just what was already in the game have already gotten most, if not all, of the basic banner characters.
I'm still missing that fucking
So-
panda and Zaihi, but we're still working.
I still don't have Zaihi. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That is crazy.
I've been like visiting people, and I'm like, they have like all these characters. I'm like, what the fuck? Also, I've done 0 limited pulls, so that's also the other reason.
Well, I can't say the same.
mean-
I did a 10 pull once
Yeah.
because my luck
No
seemed to be
limited
very
character
high.
pulls
I
means
got
you have a lot
25
saved up at
stars.
least.
Yeah, I just don't know what it is. Maybe it's conditioning in Arknights. I've been fucking Pavloved or something, but I can't like what's the word I'm looking for? I don't really want to pull in any characters in Endfield unless I really, 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 really want them. So I'm kind of like, meh, like I've already decided. Like looking at the next 2, I'm okay. Honestly, I'm completely content with skipping both of them. I think
Really?
Rosie looks the coolest, or Rossi. She looks the coolest. Like how she plays, I would say, is fucking really cool.
Yeah, it does look pretty neat.
But I'm also, I don't like playing as kids. You know, like when you play an MMO and you're like, you know, people do all this crazy stuff, and you're like, I'm gonna be the normal dude in armor and stuff, like with a great sword. When I play ESO, I'm like, oh, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna be a Breton with as a mage, and that's it. And I'm doing nothing else. I'm not doing anything creative. I might be a Sork or something like that sometimes, but I'm very like boring. So like even my characters, like I don't. It's weird for me. Like, oh, I'm gonna go. My main character is gonna be a little Red Riding Hood. I just doesn't. It doesn't hit. It doesn't. It feels weird to me. So
That's fair.
yeah, I'm probably not really gonna pull on her. Just not a fan of her style, as in like the theme. And then the other one, what's her name? Tong
Tong
Tong.
Tong.
She, I don't know.
You got to play Wuling. You'll love her.
I don't know. We'll see.
She's a really goofy character. So
Yeah, I'm not too big of a fan of the goof.
A lot of
goofballs.
people say that she carries the Wuling story at the moment.
Oh God. Okay.
Yeah.
Dr. P over your talking shit. I don't want you.
I'm saying, like, not based on my experience. I'm saying like
Right.
I've
No,
heard a lot
I
of
get
people.
you. She's good, and I think she's a good introduction to Wuling, but I think really she acts as a really good way to get driven into the Wuling storyline, and then from there, I think Wuling itself, like the actual city, is what really picks it up, in my opinion.
She plays what she reminds me of, because she has guns and stuff like that, but she doesn't play as if she has guns. You know, like Yvonne.
yeah,
Dr. P can't stop gooning about in my chat. She uses guns how you'd expect to use guns, which, to be honest, how they've made it out for gun users feels really not good personally to me, where I'm basically stuck in position to use these guns constantly and I gotta
Yeah.
freeze and stuff like that. Like, doesn't feel good, honestly. Not being mobile feels terrible usually across the board.
Tong Tong is very
She's very mobile.
not stable,
Yeah.
not unmobile.
I would say she doesn't even use guns like normal though, because she used, like, you know how like in Wuwa you had Chikona, and she was a gun user, but mostly she was just sword fighting and stuff like that. And that's what kind of Tang Tang reminds me of. She's kind of just popping off, doing flips, doing weird shit and stuff like that, and the guns are an accessory to that. But it's not.
Well, you also have to remember that the Arknight's world, guns aren't normal. They're not
Right.
guns per se.
That's true.
I was about to say, like, if you watch Wolfguard's animations, I think that's a good representation of how guns actually normally work, where you're having to he's not just shooting the gun, he's literally casting the bullet, and you can see him charge each one up as he fires.
Yeah. And to be honest, Wolfguard, probably my top 3 character, I would say, for Enfield. He's super cool, super rad.
I love Wolfguard.
He's
That's the reason I'm getting Rossi, really, is just to get his sister.
I know. I did see the joke of like, there's no way they're gonna make his sister a 6-star and he's a 5-star, and lo and fucking
Well,
behold,
she is the leader
And
of the
then they
pack.
did it.
He's not.
that's true. She is the leader
Yeah.
of the pack. Maybe we'll get all
For Dr. P, they do work the same. They're just way more common now. They're a lot cheaper to produce, so you'll just see them more often.
Yeah. I mean, how I view Enfield is I take Arknights and I fucking reverse it, and that's Enfield basically. Because that's, I feel like, what we've kind of gone through is theme points to like how the story's being told to basically everything almost is almost a flipped version of Arknights and stuff like that. Instead of a visual novel or an action open RPG, open world exploration, infinite. And in Arknights, it was a depressing world with hope in this, like hope hidden behind it, and then in Enfield, it's all happy go lucky with the depressing shit behind it and stuff hidden. So it's completely flipped, and that's what I'm hoping for the story is. I'm hoping I'm not like convincing myself that there's a grand plan. I'm hoping there really is a grand plan to flip everything on its head, and it's actually the end of the world and stuff like that. And this happy-go-lucky stuff was all a joke, the priestess bullshit and stuff like that. And I'm really hoping, because if it doesn't and it just is infinitely happy-go-lucky, I'm gonna crash the fuck out. But I need my sadness, man. But
on the topic
really
of
definitely.
on the topic of like opposite world, it's in original Arknights it was us versus Originium, and now it's Originium versus Aether.
yeah, and we're the ones doing the Originium stuff, basically. Giving people cancer, then selling them the cure to the symptoms, basically. So it's like,
Not wrong.
fuck, dude. But we'll see. I mean, I would say this first arc is Wuling and stuff like that. When do we see we'll get to the point in like how Arknights got to that point of like actually understanding the world as a whole, and kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Seeing the whole grand plan to an extent, like having an idea of what the whole grand plan is. Because right now it's just theory games, and we're like the current main grand plan is Wuling, to be honest, and stuff. And obviously, if you read everything like Drac does, he probably has a different perspective on it. But
Yeah, we know quite a lot about the world, but it's just not obvious,
yeah.
to put it simply.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm curious about. Like honestly, is where do we think?
I mean, I think if you look at what's presented to the player in terms of the story, we're not going to know until Wuling is done.
Yeah.
Because they're still introducing like the quote unquote villain faction, and to be clear, we don't even know if they're villains yet. So it'll really depend on what they end up doing.
We still have ether as a element in the game with resistance stats applied to them.
Right.
So they've set up one. We're just gonna skip. It's funny. We're gonna skip over 1.1 for a second and look at 1.2. They've almost set 1.2 as a finale, or maybe a setter for the finale of Wuling. Almost.
I think it's more of a setter.
A setter for the finale, I would say. Yeah.
Because I think 1.3 would be closer to a finale, if not 1.4. But it wouldn't be like the ending of the Wuling story, because if I recall correctly, there was an interview recently where if I remember right, Haimao said that Wuling would be at least a year long.
Jesus. Okay. Damn. We'll see.
Did he say it was
Yeah,
a year long, or did he say it would last the full version? I don't remember.
No, a year long. Like each
Okay.
region will get a whole year.
I'm not sure how I feel about that, because we're getting one new map, one new zone with this update, 2 with the next one. I'm going to call this update 1.1, next update 1.2. So we're getting 2 maps with 1.2. Are they going to give us more maps with 3 and 4? Because I feel like at that point we're approaching Valley 4 plus. Because 1.2 would get us caught up to where Valley 4 has, like, in terms of amount of maps and content.
I mean, speaking of maps, the fact that they called the new one we're getting 1.1 a medium-sized map, and then they showed it to us, and it was small as fuck.
And it was tiny.
I was like, that's a medium?
I believe it's going to have a lot more verticality. Because if you looked at the video, there was a lot more, like, upwards you can get.
Yeah.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I actually believe that you could probably get to the top of the biggest water wheel. Because that's what it looked like at the time.
It does look really cool. I'll say that. I'm curious because from an audience capture point, being stuck in a same thematic zone for a year, I don't like. I feel like with a lot of these gotchas, you're kind of in a zone at best, maximum 6 months. I've seen like a thematic zone, and with additions to it, like about 6 months, 4 months. 1 year in a whole, like, basically, like, a theme or a story press.
I mean, they're definitely going to have to vary it. Like, it can't all just be, like, Arknights China. They're going to have to change it up to where it's, like, it's Arknights China, but it might be, like, an older region, or, you know, maybe it's a technologically advanced region or whatever, so it just feels different.
Yeah.
Because if we just keep getting the same looking stuff over and over again, then, yeah, I totally agree. It's going to get old.
Okay, you first.
Go ahead. Okay. With original Arknights, which I'm going to always go back to, we were stuck in Lungmen / Chernobog for, what was that, 2 years, 3 years? I'm blanking exactly. It was a while ago. I'm going to say 2 years.
I'd say 2.
But
no. I think it was more akin to a year, because after
when did
that
Chapter
year
8 finish?
we started. I think Chapter 8 was the 1 year anniversary.
Was it 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
I'll have to look back at that. But regardless, we were there for a pretty long amount of time. But what made it feel okay is we had event stories that took us to other areas. So we got to see a pretty large variety of the world within that same time span. And I'm not seeing, at least right now, it doesn't look like we're doing that in this game.
Well, realistically, I just don't know. I think that's a fault of the 3D medium as a whole. Because, like, we're gonna get to summer in like 5 months or whatever, right? And it's not like I really highly doubt they're just gonna suddenly take us out of Wuling and be like, all right, here's your summer map, go have fun. It's like it just doesn't really seem like something they would do, but who knows? I
I,
mean,
I
maybe they'll
do
pull it out.
Yeah.
I do think like if you like look at the Wuling map as a whole, based on like what you can see around Wuling City, like there's a different places that we could go that are different. Like we could go more into the water area where
Okay.
all the blight is.
Really?
Maybe we go and like take a boat or something. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, I mean, if we are pushing the blight back like they're talking about doing, but
Hmm.
based on 1.2's preview, it looks like first we're going to have to deal with the blight coming in due to the actions of two certain people, and
Yeah,
then
and that
maybe
could be
after
like
that, yeah.
yeah, maybe like for like the first half of the story, we're still trying to push it back, and then we finally are able to push it back. Then we could go and do more things in Wuling and like expand Wuling a bit.
Hmm.
They posted. No, stop it! Oh my gosh.
Not to mention we have to there's the rift we have to deal with, possibly.
I'm so
Yeah,
mad.
Asaki. Go ahead.
So mad when we watched that video. They were like, "Hey, go check out the devlog on our webpage," and they never posted the devlog on their webpage. And I'm like,
Oh, did
"Okay,
they not?
no,
I
they
haven't even
didn't."
checked.
I was like,
It's on Twitter.
I hate Twitter. I just I don't use social
Same.
media. I only have a YouTube and a Discord account. I don't use social media. So it's just like whatever. I don't know why they didn't post it on there. It's funny. But
For
Might be a
Asaki,
little
though,
slower.
I think that would be the solution: is implement something like IS and RA, so the roguelite mode and the I don't even know what you would compare RA to really, but if they were to use those to then explore other areas of the world, I think that would be probably the best way to go about it in this game.
I got a
Mhm.
little excited with the events they showed off. I hate side event. I despise minigame events. But the last one they showed off when we were throwing the bomb down into the group of enemies, at first I was like, "Oh my god, it's a
Yeah.
tower defense!" And then it was like, "No, this is just a weird minigame thing where you do different challenges in each zone." I was like, "Fuck!" I was like, "Just give me a
It
tower
it
defense."
it seems like an event that is going to be like a bunch of different kind of game modes or mini games.
Probably like a test bed to see
I mean,
what
I would
hits the
imagine
best.
it's the next iteration of the event that's currently going on, the puzzle one.
Yeah.
It's just instead of like, running through a map at fast speeds, it's going to be, you have a set amount of bombs, kill the enemies or something like that.
I
And
do
then
like the
like
one where they showed the
Hmm.
beast running past all the slugs to disable the shields. That one looks like it'll be neat.
yeah,
That
I like that.
one didn't look
But
here.
I think my biggest thing is I just want more interesting fights and events, because right now they're all, in my opinion, very, very easy and simple.
We're getting
Uh,
one new boss.
the puzzle areas, I was not impressed with any of the puzzles. They were kind of one and done for me.
Yeah.
This game is missing, I would say, almost a fun, repeatable, for sure.
That's still what I'm missing. Yeah, I want something that I
definitely,
can
yeah.
do every week, and
Yeah,
they haven't shown that yet.
I personally would have liked there to be like a weekly repeatable for like the tower defense. That would have been fun.
And I'm
Mhm.
looking at the QL stuff,
I finished
and
them all.
the part that pisses me, I'm a little, I feel like we kind of got corpo talked in the stream a little bit, which is a little annoying to me, honestly. But like, they're like, we listened to your feedback, and here's all the QL features, and then half of them were stuff they already told us like 2 weeks ago in a devlog, and I was like,
But
okay,
they
and then
they did say like those were being implemented. They might be implemented, but now they're saying this is the patch where they're being implemented.
yeah, and then they were like, they stuff that like even the ones they had talked about in that devlog that they were being implemented, they're not coming out until like 1.2 and stuff like future like to be implemented in future updates and stuff like the quick claims, which is a lot of the quick claims and being implemented in 1.2. I'm like, that's not great because the quick claims is really the stuff that benefits the newer players the best versus the older players. So I feel like that's something that should come in quicker and sooner.
Though he did note that like currently we don't need to get the recycles if you've already maxed out the Dijon.
True.
I did find that funny. It was like, we're not going to give you any new upgrades, so just shut up about it.
I feel like it might happen in the future, but like right now, he's like, just don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah. No, he specifically said not right now, but he didn't specify that it's never going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, I do think it's kind of weird though, because like we have the whole Dijang, but then like we have what, 3 rooms on it?
Yeah.
That's it. It's like,
yep.
I feel like that's a huge avenue of content that it just wasn't explored that they could have explored.
I mean,
but maybe that's a down the line thing.
You can also
I think they're going to add
a bunch
dorms.
of roads are blocked off.
True.
Right. Yeah.
I think what's happening is they are waiting. They're trying to include dorms, and they want the dorms to have furniture like the original Arknights did, and that's just not ready yet.
Makes sense. My favorite thing, I think, was like we improved farming, and then they showed a video of it's like 0.5 times faster, and I was like, "This is not something you should show on video." Than stuff like that. Like I was just like really.
It seemed
bored.
more like 2 times faster to me.
Or 2 times, yeah. But I was like, I'll be honest. I have the farm. I don't interact with it and stuff like that. And
I haven't interacted with the farm either. But if I do it, it's good to finish those crafting stuff so you can get all.
I have automated my entire farm, and I have interacted with it once after I automated it.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. And
it was a waste of time so far.
So like because I'm looking at the stuff they what's the word I'm looking for the being able to get more polls for basics and stuff, and I was like, okay, leveling up protocol pass, so basically that's every 45 days you can get more of these. Stock reader distributions can be raised to higher levels to unlock more resources, which that's not an infinite cycle, that's limited over time as well.
That's going to be very limited, actually.
Yeah, and then new area rewards unlocked from Edge Space Salvage, which looks like a new area, so probably that's a one-time thing as well for each new area. So there's no kind of like, I'm not seeing any. I'm not asking for like repeatable basic polls, but that feels like a stopgap and stuff like that to an extent.
Edge Space and the expansions that it gets, it reminds me a little bit of RA.
A little bit, but it's not repeatable still though. It's like, okay, we're gonna give you some new Edge Space stuff.
Well,
once per patch, is that it?
RA was never meant to be repeatable.
I guess that's true, but it's still, Edge Space just feels so short in comparison. Like RA had a lot of content. Edge Space is like, okay, I knock it out in like 30 minutes to an hour, and
Yeah, the problem, I don't know. Like, I don't know what because we keep like every time we go like, oh, we want an IS in this game and stuff. It's like, okay, how do you do an IS in this game? And that's really the main question, because people want the feeling.
I think it needs to be a dedicated. Yeah, I don't want it to just be another MiHoYo, generic looking roguelite. I want actual, like, hey, give me a new zone, give me lore that's tied to that zone, and as you go through your roguelite, it actually is giving you story, it's giving you character interaction, with interesting boss fights thrown in throughout, which
I feel like that could have been Edge Space, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just very half-baked right now.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think what happened is that everyone hated the roguelike in, like, I think it was beta 1 or the alpha, and so they had to scrap that and make something completely different. And this is what they came up with, and it's just not fully there because they had to. They only had half the time because
I mentioned that
roguelike didn't go through well.
When they told us in November, when they did that stream right before the beta, that they had rewritten the story and for like a third time, and they had redone combat again, and then they've rechanged a lot of the endgame things. And I was like, you are like 4 months away from release, and you're doing this now? I was like, this is terrible.
That's one of the videos I'm going to. I just finished the script on this, and I'm going to be editing it after I release my next one. But actually, I have sat down. So I wasn't part of any of the betas or alphas, but I have sat down and I have watched the story all the way through for every iteration that we were allowed to see, and like that we have YouTube records of. When they said they rewrote the story, they didn't rewrite that much. Instead, they just kind of cut a lot of stuff. It was very minor actual rewrites, and said it was just like, all right, we're going to remove all of this stuff that we currently require you to do. We're going to put that in side content and in character stories, and in some cases just not included at all. That way we can make Valley 4 only take like 30 hours instead of 60.
I think as soon as like the prologue was introduced with the boss, that's when they didn't change any of the story after that.
Do you think they did that to add in the AIC factory and all the tutorials? And
no, those were already there.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like making these changes, because I use the example all the time of Destiny, is they made all these changes year before release, and it was just it was rough. And I feel like they almost, what's the word I'm looking for? It's where you need to just buckle down and be like, I'm making the game and stuff like that, because I feel like that's we turned into this whole situation where, like I said, I take it all the time, is there was no real direction to this game, and I kind of feel like they're just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks to the community and then just chasing that down, which is like cool, good, you listen to the community, but you got to at least push us in some direction, and they've been kind of doing that the last year.
If they had fully listened to the community in those early betas, though, we would not have the factory anymore.
Oh,
it would
100%.
be gone.
Yeah.
I've seen a ton of feedback of just people going, I don't like the factory, and at least they've stuck to their guns on that.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at least in my community, like I know a lot of people that ended up just straight up quitting because of the factory, and particularly the tutorials that were forced upon players early on. And like, yeah, that's kind of... It's rough that Enfield ends up losing those players, but at the same time, it's like, it would be nice, or it's rough that they end up losing those players, but at the same time, it's nice that they stuck to their guns, because if they did end up removing the factory, then, I mean, that's easily like if you do everything in the patch right now in 1.0, there's probably like 200 hours maybe, but that's including the factory. So if you remove the factory, like, I really don't know if there would have been a lot in this game. I'm going to be honest.
You cut out more than half.
Yeah, easily.
Even the tower defense mode would be gone.
Yeah, that too. So honestly, I don't necessarily know if it was like they stuck to their guns per se, and more so they realized, hey, we're getting all this feedback that people like this, but we literally can't, or people don't like this, but we literally can't remove this because then we don't have a game. And I mean, whether that's a good or a bad thing, like, I don't know. Like, I'm happy because I enjoy the factory, but on the other hand, they lose all those players that don't want the factory, so...
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting because we've also seen... So, like, the new mineral we saw for this new Wuling zone, that's actually from one of the earlier betas. That was, like, beta 1, is when they actually had that already in-game. So that's been planned for much, much longer than just like it's not coming out of nowhere. They've had that planned for a while now. So if they are going to try and back off of factory in the long run, which I hope it doesn't. I hope they stick with it.
I hope not.
But if they are going to back off, then we're probably not going to see that until after Wuling.
They can't back off. Factory is probably the only thing holding their game together right now. Like a hot take.
Yeah. Remove the factory, like 70% of the game is gone.
Yeah.
The story wouldn't make sense either.
It is a weird scenario though, because like on the other hand, like the factory is holding the game together, and that's a filter for a lot of people. But then on the other hand, if they go too hard and make the factory the main game, then it's like, okay, at that point, why did they make it a gacha game? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost a double-edged sword, where if they go hard one way or another, they're kind of screwed, and that kind of forces the game to be stuck in almost like a sort of like a limbo where they can't go too deep in either direction to please like everyone.
It's like a seesaw right now, I would say, between combat and factory. And obviously factory is like holding like really high right now, and they need to raise the combat up the meet it. I feel like, and we'll see with like the boss they're adding in, but I don't think that's what's going to do it. And 2 new characters and a boss and 2 new enemy types realistically isn't going to bring combat up to the same level as what's the focus as the factory is right now in the game. So hopefully they find a balance or they can raise it up. But it's going to be an infinite seesaw of back and forth is my expectation. Or at least I hope that's it. I hope not every time we have a new patch, it's always just factory higher than combat, and it just keeps doing that every time all the way upwards.
At the moment, it seems like 1.1 is only going to get one new thing for the factory.
It was like one new element type,
which is the ore.
Yeah, it's the ore.
Yeah, there's the new ore, but I would assume the ore is going to come with a ton of new recipes.
It was a whole new recipe tree. They said. Plus,
was the new fluid only 1.2? Was that what that was?
Yeah,
I missed that.
I'm pretty sure 1.2 is the new fluid, which is the red.
Okay, yeah. I thought that was actually just the ore, but refined into the fluid. But maybe I'm.
Yeah, I think that might be like I think that might be what it is, but like the next tier of the AIC tree.
Okay.
So like 1.1 will give us the next tier, which will give us the 4 Gironite makers, Forge of the Skies, and then 1.2 will give us the next tier, which will allow us to get the fluid lines from the refining unit.
Ceris in chat says that the new battery already uses the waste fluid, so that has to be in 1.1 then.
I don't think they mentioned waste for 1.2. I think it was just the fluid.
Waste was waste fluid, but
there's some.
I think waste was just another thing that you can make. So I think that might be my
lots of questions.
Interpretations being wrong.
I'll give him props for this. I hate mini games with a passion. That's the reason I quit WUWA. It's just turned into a mini game simulator. And I'll give them props with the mini games they're doing here. Is one of them was like what's those like the pressure wash mini game and stuff? At least that one, it was like
pressure wash simulator.
Yeah, it
pressure wash simulator.
It implements the water system in the Xeronite. I was like, all right, you got me there. But I still, as a law in this household, if it's a mini game, I hate it, and especially if it doesn't involve the feature of the game and it's just a fucking random ass mini game for no reason and stuff. I really hate it. But
okay, I have a question for you related to that.
Yeah.
Do you consider Umbral Monument to be a mini game, or do you consider that to be like end game?
He hasn't done it yet.
Hasn't done it yet.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right.
I mean, from what I've seen from it, it's definitely not end. I don't believe it's end game.
It's not.
I would say it's like an event, in essence.
It's a permanent event.
Yeah, like
they call it one of the 3 main permanent game modes, which. Again, it's like, okay, you're going to add these permanent game modes, but there's no replayability to them. So what's the point of them?
I hate this is this is a permanent game mode. Doesn't it? You do it once and then never again. It's like fuck this, man. And
right.
I don't know. For me, mini games are like the photo events or like the exploration events or
okay.
Here's what's it called? Jesus Christ, Vampire Survivors in our game. Yeah, we spent like a couple thousand hours implementing it into this game so y'all could play it for one patch and never again, instead of, working on the fucking game. Like, yeah, but,
When I tried Nikke for the first time, I played more of that than I did the actual game.
I hate that. It's like, especially when they make like overtly complicated mini games to implement into their game. It's like, why did you do this instead of just fixing your end game? And it's
dude, there was a mini game in WUWA recently in 2.8 where they added in like an entire like looter shooter mechanic where it was like you would kill a bunch of monsters, get loot, and then you could like create builds and stuff. But it was completely pointless because it was never used again and it was hardly used in the actual event itself. And it's like, why would they even put the dev time into that? Like, what's the point of that?
I have so many gripes with WUA's dev team in the sense of endgame and their events because they they shattered elusive they slaughtered elusive realms and then produced
Yep.
fucking what's it called, gateways of 1,000 or some shit like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, you had the one good end game you had, you slaughtered and killed and then turned into a Frankenstein. And then you have TOA, which everyone just does for the polls, no one actually enjoys it. And then you have WEWA, which no one does it anyways, even for the polls, because it's just not
And
enjoyable.
then the other endgame modes they've introduced, like there was that's what I made my one Wua video on. Hold on. I forget what it was called, but it was like the one where you explored Septimont and you like slowly leveled up. I forget what that was called.
Oh,
Hold
it
on.
was
As
the card, the
someone
TCG. No, not it wasn't the TCG. It was the card game one, right?
No, it was not the TCG one.
as someone who's recently returned to WUA, I am currently only in 2.1.
I loved 2.4. 2.5 made me cry, and 2.6 was where I stopped because it felt like a solved game because every patch was just
Yeah.
the same rotation, and it got to the point where I was like only pulling the characters and then doing the story, and that was it because the events weren't enjoyable. We get a boss to do every other patch, and the exploration was just non-existent because the wings were cool and worked really well with the 2.0 zone, but it did not work with any of the other zones that they implemented
No,
afterwards.
I have so much that I could say about the Wua exploration.
And
It's such a joke.
yeah, and it's very obvious. I hate I get it. I get why people shit on people, like everyone shit on Pix about the motorcycle thing and the wings, but it is very obvious if you go from 1.0 and you look at all the mini games and all the stuff you could do in the zone in, like, let's say like a 10 square foot area, and you checked a 10-foot square area in 1.0, a 10-foot square area in 2.0 zones, and then 10-foot square area at 3.0, and it just got thinner and thinner. There was less stuff to do in each of those in that square footage area. And it's
100%.
because you could just fly or do all this other stuff, and then also made the world bigger. But the worlds didn't even get bigger. The worlds got smaller. 1.0 zones was bigger than 2.0.
Yep.
I still love Renacida. It is a beautiful place, and the wings were implemented exceptionally well, I would say, almost, for Renacida. They're close to. But 1.0, just being able to change the other thing for Enfield, what I want them to do is they always talk about changing the world of Enfield, of Talos 2. I want them to do it like you could do in 1.0 in WUA, where you have the bamboo tree or whatever, the bang bong tree, I forget what it was called, and you did the quest for that, and you purified it, and the flowers bloomed, and it
Oh my
changed,
god,
and
yeah.
the music.
That would be awesome.
I won't say anything too much, but technically you can in Enfield.
Yeah. I mean, you have the
I'm
outpost.
only saying
Create
that
an
as a
entire
tech.
field of power pylons.
Okay, that's not the technicality I was talking about, but there's another technicality. He's just not there yet, so I can't say anything.
I know. I'll be honest. Every time I play Enfield, I make a claim, and then I next stream I play the next feature or whatever, and my claim was wrong because it already was in the fucking game, and I have to walk it back. I feel like I'm walking back more than I'm walking forward. I'm like, my bad. I fucking said the wrong thing here. Time to walk it back again. That's why, like, I think it was like during the podcast this morning, or the stream this morning, I was getting all fucking heated about the patch, and I was like, I'm gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna wait till it comes out to actually give like my rating on it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I knew if I was like 6.5 or 7 out of 10, I was gonna fucking cause an issue. So I was like, I'm just gonna shut the fuck up. I'm gonna wait until the patch comes out and play it, and then give my opinion on it. But yeah. But I wish we could do more rule changes.
Oh, good.
Sorry, I was rambling. Keep going.
I was just gonna say, I guess in terms of changing the landscape, we technically can do it because you can upgrade your outposts, and then that you can literally see the outpost getting built. But like, it would be nice to have more of that with exploration.
There's a couple places I have in mind in Wuling,
Yeah,
but
there
like I
is
said,
one
I'm
in
not gonna
Wuling
go
that I
into
can think of.
deep.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go in deep with that one because a certain someone isn't in Wuling yet.
Yep.
I'm fucking working on it.
Also, the
Well, and that's-
Wu
Not calling out
events. the WUA events that I was thinking of were there was Banners Never Fall, which was in Septimont, and then there was also Virtual Crisis, which was basically contingency contract except in WUA.
Yep.
And then they just don't run that anymore, and it's just like, okay, well,
It's annoying.
all right,
I
that's
hate
cool.
it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know why people like keep doing TOA. It just pisses me off. Oh man.
The world exploration level in Endfield feels like it's a missed opportunity almost, because it gives you more, well, not even more enemies, but it gives you higher level enemies. But you could have whole new areas open up with world exploration level that incentivizes you to go and explore again each time you level it up.
or
And that's just
zones get more
Yeah.
There's just
corrupted
no
by the
reason to do
bone
that.
crushers, like how they have those damn pylon
Or-
things or whatever.
Yep.
They can totally
right.
do
like,
that.
There's a couple of ways you could do it.
So far at the moment, it's
But
just
right now,
been
it's just
opening and making the ore deposits more purified.
And they can
Yeah.
do it. The
Yeah.
game's optimized for them to do it. They go fucking crazy. I don't know. They did some fucking wizardry or they prayed to the fucking Omnissiah or whatever to fucking have this game work well on a goddamn iPhone 7 or some shit. And it's just like that good optimization allows you to get a little more friskier with the shit, to add a bit more heavy stuff onto the game. And I need something.
it's called You Avoided Unreal Engine. Good job.
It's true.
Yeah, Dracnus, you mentioning like the map changing after like world level ups and stuff, that actually reminded me. I think that was something the Division 2 did. Where like once you hit level
did?
30 and you clear all the base maps, then like it's like, oh, now here's these new factions. Go do it again. And it's like,
Right.
okay, well, stuff
Why
like that
not?
would be awesome in a game like this. So
Yeah, it increases the amount of content you have to play without necessarily requiring an enormous amount of dev time. Like, you got to implement a couple of new things, new features, but you can replenish the world, and now you have a reason to go back into it.
Yep. And now that I'm thinking about it more, it's actually weird because a gacha game has done that before. I don't know if any of you guys ever played Genshin, but way back, I think it was Genshin 2.5.
Unfortunately.
Fucking like Genshin's like fucking 20 years old.
Yeah, so like in Genshin 2.4 they released Enkanomiya, and then literally the next patch in 2.5 we went back to Enkanomiya except it was all corrupted. And you literally had to like cleanse the corruption, and like there was I don't think there was a new monster, but there was like a whole new level up mechanic that you had to do where you could go to new areas and stuff like that. It's like it's there. Like the blueprint is there. Games have done it before. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I quit Genshin before that patch.
I never played it.
yeah, so
Was
fair
working.
enough.
But
I
Bryce
hated
over here,
Inazuma.
Unk over here flexing his games of old.
Yeah, games of old. Meanwhile, it's just Genshin Impact.
back in the day, I played Genshin Impact during COVID.
Back in the day, I played Brave Frontier. Now I'm the Unk. Haha.
Oh yeah, no secondary rewards or other things to shoot for. Maybe when we get closer to 1.1, but I only saw like all these events. They were kind of like the rewards from probably just pulls or like upgrade materials. No skins, no emblems, no player
I don't think they're gonna do
profiles.
skins for a while.
That's kind of a
Yeah,
shame,
I
though,
think-
isn't it? Like,
Missed
considering
It
how
is, it
prominent they were
is.
in the OG game.
Well, it's
And
easier
how
to
much
make
they've set it
skins
up,
for
too.
2D
Oh,
characters.
yeah, I mean, 100% it is, yeah. Especially considering it was just chibis, but
Yeah.
still.
I feel like we're rewalking through steps we've already taken almost. Like, I don't know how Arknights players feel that played like through day one, which y'all can give your opinion on that. But I almost feel like it's not like making the same mistakes, but it's like we're walking the same steps, but maybe 0.5 times faster and stuff like that.
Actually, on that note, I have it feels like what's going on is they're following that same step-by-step formula of, we're going to create our base game, we're going to iterate on that for a little bit. As we're doing that, we're going to hire more and more people to eventually be able to build all of these extra features that will actually help the game in the long run. But how long it's going to take to get there is still the question. And I think it's probably a cost savings measure, to be honest. It's like, hey, we're not sure yet how successful we'll be. We got to see how much money we'll have in the bank afterwards.
Yeah, I don't. Um, it just feels like a avoidable issue that they could have done. You know, like if we're coming out the gate with a fucking stacked bundle store, you know, from Arc, like just like how Arknights has now, I feel like we'd come out the gate with at least a couple skins or even just some more profiles or background for the profiles and stuff like that achieved. But
You say stacked bundle store. I feel like we're still lacking in the bundle store. Like Arknights
I
bundles,
kind of agree.
those,
A lot of them
those
suck.
like,
well, they suck.
yeah, like we have the $60, $40, and $20 bundles in almost every Arknights event. And those are almost always way better value than anything we've seen in Enfield so far.
Yeah. I would say stacked is like good, but like a lot of stuff in there. So they have daily reset, weekly reset, and monthly resets for fucking bundles. Holy
Yeah,
fuck.
but that's always been in the original Arknights too. I generally avoid those, and I'm usually waiting for those event bundles before I even think about buying.
Yeah. It feels like because Yaniko brought it up, the bundles are like super odd in Enfield. It feels almost out of place with the bundles in Enfield. I'm like, these just don't feel like they should even be in the game and stuff like that. It just feels weird to have bundles in Enfield at all. Which I don't know.
Yeah, I still prefer bundles versus just top ups. And again, I've said this many times before, but that might just be my Fate Grand Order bias going through because Fate Grand Order doesn't have anything like that. You top up, and that's your only option.
I agree. I prefer bundles over topping up.
Let's see.
Yeah. I mean, it feels, I mean, obviously it's the point, but it feels like you're getting more. So
Mhm.
now with that said, I mean, even back in the original Arknights, when you bought a bundle, you would technically not get your value in terms of pulls, compared to just buying the raw currency, but you would also get, T creds or whatever they were called back in that game. I forget. So and some other
LMD.
stuff. Yeah, LMD and then materials and that kind of
dollars.
stuff.
I did
Which I always find funny.
that like one of the features, the QOL that I was bitching about was every time you loaded into something, you weren't at, full health and full energy
Oh
and
my
stuff.
god. Yes.
I'm glad they made that change because I was like getting a little fucking pissed off. But
I'm surprised they let you go in with full ultimate energy because that's gonna make the little bit of challenge that is in there completely like gone.
The video they showed, they didn't show your stamina or not your stamina, your abilities. So I'm not sure if you because they did. Did they show off where it refills your abilities as well, not just your ults?
Yeah, all the ultimates were there.
Well, the ults, not the ultimate energy.
Ultimates, combos, SP, they were all at max when you go in.
Cool.
Well, SP at 2, as always.
Oh, was it at 2? Okay. I thought I saw it at 3 in the video footage.
They did, so your SP doesn't go to full?
I don't know. I didn't look that closely to the SP.
Regardless, my argument is I wanted them to go in with full health. I didn't care. I actually kind of didn't care what they did with the rest of it because index farming is easy as shit anyway.
How it feels they're balancing the bosses or the enemies is they just grab like all the people that fought this boss, let's say, and they go, all right, how long did it take them or whatever? And then they go, okay, that's too long. Let's bring that fucking number down. They just bring down his health and shit like that, which is kind of like, okay, well, we could fucking, get a little friskier here, which the new boss they're adding in looks super, super cool, which I'm super excited about that.
It does look
good.
Yeah.
He looks really rad.
The more combat mechanics. Thank you. Yeah. That's the thing that makes Arknights so good is the boss fights and the stages have unique mechanics that you have to play around, and we haven't had that.
Yeah,
so, I mean, we actually did with the one Umbral Monument stage, the newest one.
The Umbral Monuments have given us some of that, yes, but not enough, in my opinion, still.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Umbral Monument feels like original Arknights challenge stages.
I don't even think it's that. I feel like it's still too easy to be compared to EX stages.
No. Yeah. What I mean by challenge stages is like there's the stage itself, and then you do it on challenge mode. which changes how
Oh, well,
the
yeah.
stage is
Okay.
done because different things are in the stage.
Yeah, that makes sense. I get you there.
That's what I meant by
Yeah.
challenge.
The one thing
The thing that I've noticed. Oh, sorry. Go
you
ahead.
got all right. The one thing I thought was really fucking funny was like everyone bitched about the simulations. They're like, all right, you can autocomplete them, and then they were like, well, but if you want if you're an engraved metal collector and you're fucking weird like that, which everyone is, then you're gonna have to do them manually. It's like fuck you. You know, you wanna get rid of it. You wanna not do our simulations. Guess what, bitch? If you want these medals, you're gonna do them manually. I was like, fuck, dude. Because I do want those, which means I'm gonna have to do those simulations manually. So I'm like,
I'm gonna
damn
get
it.
them automatically.
Are you? Because
Yeah, I did every single one of them before the patch where you could do them automatically.
that's good. That's good.
Yeah. The Z also did the same thing, and I'm sitting there like, I think I did all my Valley 4 ones, and then I was like, I don't want to touch these anymore.
They're like
I
half.
feel like as a Satisfactory and a Factorial player, these are all very obvious.
Yeah.
It helped me because I'm not a factory gamer.
Right. And I, to be clear, I actually like those simulations. I like those as optional tutorials. My tutorial complaints are all the required mandatory ones in the main story, which they have not addressed at all.
It feels like we're addressing for what's next in Enfield and not what has happened, which is kind of annoying. We've had like some retroactive fixes for like Valley 4, but really not too many. So I'm kind of like, oh, okay, can we have some more, please? Like this is not me like I'm bitching for the people that will come after and stuff, you know, the for those who come after bullshit. But
So come
how
after.
you know, the lifeblood of these games are the new player experience, especially if it's a live service game. And what killed Destiny was because they fucked the new player experience so badly, and you got no new players. Also, it's like $400 to fucking play the goddamn game. But it fucked the new player experience. They got no new blood, and then the old blood just slowly died off, and then petered out. So they have to address the new player experience.
And that's
Yeah. I think that's
go ahead.
something that I'm kind of like super concerned about with this game right now, because something that I've noticed since gotchas went mainstream with Genshin is that it almost feels like all the development teams of these games are like sharks. Like they only go forward, they can't go back.
Yeah.
And if they do go back, it's like a year down the line.
Yeah.
So where like with the original Arknights, they kind of felt more traditional in the sense that they actually cared about what was going on in the game as a whole. But I do kind of have some concerns that the Enfield team might be more similar to like Hoyo or Kuro or whatever else that are just kind of like going forward.
Yeah.
Because there are glaring problems with the game right now.
Okay.
And like, while the game is definitely, I would say, solid overall, if those problems don't get fixed, then they're, you know, always going to be problems that a new player will run into, like you were talking about.
They're gonna fester,
So-
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
don't
can't
know.
recommend
We'll see.
this game to anyone. Everybody I've tried has bounced off of Valley 4 before they get to any of the stuff that I consider actually kind of decent. And even the people who do make it there are so burned out by the point they get to those interesting points, like you, Deadhound, where you stop. You're not interested enough in the story to actually pay attention when the interesting stuff gets discussed. So it bounces off even more.
I don't even give a fuck about the story, and I read
Yeah.
chapter 6 in one stream. It was 10 hours, but like, and I was still hyped up. So like, is that like what I was saying at is just this is not good, and like, it kind of pisses me off, and I don't want to be the guy that goes everyone's coping, but everyone goes it's Hypergriff. Trust them, they did good with Arknights. I'm like, yes, but if you look at Enfield, there's a lot more signs and a lot more of like, you know, if it's like looking at genetics and stuff like that, and you're looking at the mom and dad. Well, Enfield looks a lot more like the mailman, which is Genshin Impact and stuff like that. And so the worry here is that they're simulating and emulating a lot of the stuff that the bigger Wuwa Genshin does, and it's not good. And you could say, oh, it's Hypergriff, trust them and stuff. They did good for Arknights, but Arknights is a completely different game from the ground up and how they've interacted with the community even. is completely different. And
at the end of the day, if we like Hypergriff. I know I love Hypergriff compared to a lot of other developers. But just because you're a fan of Hypergriff and you want to trust them doesn't mean you can't give critical feedback.
Yeah.
We see the problems, we can recognize those problems, and at least do everything in our power to make sure the devs are aware.
I'll say this. Do I trust Hypergriff with Arknights? 100% I do. Do I trust Hypergriff or whatever Griff line, or that's publisher, but do I trust them with Endfield? Currently, and what they've showed us and what they've addressed with the current stream or video they showed us this morning, not really, honestly. Which is kind of like a, but I'll get blamed for that one. But it's my criticisms for the game are, I would try to be in good faith, and I'll eat the hit if I'm wrong. I will announce to the public when I'm wrong and stuff like that. But I don't want to, for he who shall not be named. But I don't want to turn into that and turn into that situation. Sorry. But there's glaring issues with the game that need to be addressed, or they will fester and get out of hand, and the community will turn into the very thing they swear to destroy, just like how Kuro's community with Wuthering Waves, swore to destroy Genshin Impact and what that community stood for, and they became the very thing that happened, and now it's a current PvP fester zone right now, basically, and there really is no community in that game, I would say. No. The whole CC community.
To follow up on what AIDS said in the AIDZ in the chat there. Yes, it's a 3D game. Yes, it's more expensive to make. They have the money, and we can give it a year, sure, but that doesn't mean we have to accept how it is right now. We can talk about it at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I'm just talking anyways about it, to be real. But yeah, they've made a lot of money, and how I look at it, I like Gotcha Smack a lot, and he's always been very adamant about not backing the multi-billion or multi-million-dollar company and stuff like that. There's a lot of things they did in this game that they didn't have to do, and they shouldn't have done, to be honest. And that's why there's all these gotcha issues with the economy and the actual gotcha system, and people have no idea. People really have no idea what could happen with the gotcha system. There's hints that we might get limited characters into the standard pool after a period of time, maybe, who knows. But
yeah, that's still the biggest question, and I have no issues with the gotcha really outside of that one question that we still need answered.
Yeah, so Enfield was not like that during the beta. Dude, during the Enfield was not. There was so much PvP before this game even came out. That shit was insane. But I'm not saying this is I'm not trying to prophesize or speak with the truth or anything like that. I'm just saying is that we shouldn't just go I'm basing Enfield off of Enfield as a product. I'm not gonna base Enfield off of what Arknights is and stuff, because they've already shown that they're not they're not taking a step forward from Arknights. They're stepping back in the same boots, in essence, but a weird amalgamation. And that is disappointing. I would say I've gotten more disappointments from Enfield than happiness sounds weird, but approvals. Now all of them are minor, but it's like death by 1,000 cuts and stuff.
Yeah.
Beneficial that I play the game offline. It's beneficial that I just play the game entirely offline, because I think a large part of the lack of enjoyment that you feel, Deadhound, honestly partially comes from just not being able to just commit yourself to it and immersing yourself, which comes from streaming, which I think that's part of it. It's not entirely the whole problem. The game has problems, obviously, but I think that's part of it.
It's so weird because I really like playing Arknights is way more fun doing it live than doing it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
But Enfield, I feel like I might have to. I wouldn't say I might have to play it off stream, but the factory stuff, the other things, the side stories, I've been doing that off stream and stuff. The main story, I've been just doing live and stuff. Did they say anything about the co-op? They don't think they did say anything about the co-op. Actually,
No.
they didn't.
I haven't heard anything about co-op. That seems to be coming from a number of like Reddit sources. I haven't seen any actual
Co-op
real sources for
might
that.
be difficult to implement for a kind of combat system this game has.
Yeah, and I'm gonna fucking say this. If we, this is gonna be another fucking piss off people. I don't think Hypergriff views Enfield as a success based off of the income.
You don't think so?
Arknights is pretty damn, like, I think if you're gonna put this much money into it, you want a huge bump, you know, like Genshin levels and stuff out the gate. And they did make a lot of money, but Arknights is right behind them. Arknights isn't too fucking far behind.
But we
Yeah.
also remember we're not seeing PC numbers in there, which
That's
we've
true.
already been told the PC counts are way higher than the mobile game counts,
True.
apparently.
Yeah, 60%, I believe, was PC.
Yeah, so looking at just the mobile numbers doesn't really give us a full picture.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about like the sensor tower stuff, that all that stuff is wildly
Oh
inaccurate
yeah,
anyway.
that is terribly
So,
inaccurate.
That's
Nah,
definitely
like
something to keep in
I
mind
think
as
we're
well.
talking about like the 173 million.
Yeah.
Which is
Right.
completely different from Sensor Tower.
Well, wasn't the 173 million including PC stuff?
I think it was mostly CN, just like CN in general.
Okay.
Let's see here.
But I don't remember the details about that.
Yeah, I agree with Freezy. It's better for looking at trends rather than looking at actual monetization numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
definitely.
I mean, if you want to look at trends, you just pull up YouTube, to be honest, to see who's talking about the
Mm.
game.
Google, yeah. There's tons of places that you can look up trends for sure.
Like, oh,
You just gotta know how to parse the numbers.
to shift back the other way, because I'm being Mr. Depresso right now, and chat's getting pissed off at me. Like, the world is beautiful. Like, the new zone looks amazing. I'm super excited to explore it. 100%. Like, this is gorgeous at all. And then there's the boss, which fucking looks amazing.
I want to get to the top of that and see if I can theorize about new areas in the future.
I hope they add like caves behind the waterfall and stuff like that, to be honest. But like
When
what
they
I
put
said,
the cave behind the waterfall, that's just peak.
yeah, what I said during my stream is I feel like Enfield is in a position where they should be crunching right now, and how they've talked to the community, and like other than this, this band was fucking surveys. I did like an hour and a half survey, but
Yeah.
like it feels like they're avoiding the issues or talking, or even talking around them and stuff. It feels like it's like there is no like there is no Fire Nation bossing say or whatever the fuck and shit like that is what it feels like right now. It's like, oh, here's our new patch. Have fun, guys. It's like, whoa.
Yeah, it's
Wait a
almost a bit
second.
like
On that note-
lackadaisical, I guess, where it's kind of just like they're just like, hey, we're doing our thing here. If you like it, great. If you don't, well, that's
Yeah.
great too.
And
It's
I'm like,
whatever.
I'm like, what fucking thing you doing? I have no idea what's fucking going on. I need a direction, and I didn't get a direction. I did not get a direction from the stream, which they even said this is how you'll see a creative direction for us pushing forward. I did not get a direction, and I feel like
there were multiple moments in that stream or in that video that I was like, okay, so you specifically mention tutorial streamlining, but then they never actually talked much about tutorials. They talked more about just general quality of life features rather than tutorials.
Yeah, so the first 10 minutes were QOL. The next, was it 10 or 20 minutes were about was the new zone and like the story and stuff like that. And then it was like 10 minutes on the characters, basically. And I think that was it. And then the last 5 minutes was them showing off like 1.2, 1.3.
Mhm.
Think that was what we covered. And like the QOL, I'm really happy for. I'm still kind of like, some of the QOL should be 1.1. Should have been sooner 1.1. Some of these QOLs should have happened immediately. They should not have happened of, well, there'll be next patch and stuff like that. I'm like, no, these are the day one or week one patch drop in QOLs and stuff like that. Not in 45 days, these QOL features will come in when everyone, already got tired of and got past the point. Yeah, all QL is just easy stuff they can do immediately. Yeah, it's easy stuff they can do immediately, and I feel like they're waiting to be like, all right, we're gonna wait till the next patch to drop it all in one big go. I'm like, no, these are like month 1, week 1, drop them fuck in. If you fixed it, get the fuck in the game and stuff.
The one QL
Yes,
that
Frosty, I am forever stuck in 2009.
the one QL I want that is only probably specific to me right now is give me more squad slots.
Oh, isn't there exactly
As soon
enough
as
squad slots for each
Tang
element?
Tang, as soon as Tong Tong and Rossi comes out, I would love to see a 6 and a 7 squad so I can make 2 more squads for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because right
not
now
really
all
any
my
hope for
slots are
that.
filled, and I have 5 teams. But I already can tell you that with the characters that I have, and I have 10 made, I can make at least 2 more teams. All around Shatter, by the way.
Jesus Christ! Because from what I've saw, so we have 5 teams and it's one for each element, right?
Basically,
including
yeah.
physical and stuff.
Kind of like that. Yeah.
It feels like general guys just don't do kill until patches hit, and I don't understand why many games update those things at any moment generally. Dude, I guess I feel like it's not good practice even to do that though.
When we
I'm
had
surprised
large
they got this
publishers
much.
involved with all of these, it made more sense because then you had to pay your publisher or you had to pay your service in order to do updates.
Yeah.
But a lot of these are being self-published now, so there's not as
Yeah.
much excuse to just not update
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah, I went ahead and looked back at the video just to see. So 16 minutes out of the 40-minute video was just on the characters, which is like, isn't that
Which
kind of
they-
crazy?
Yeah.
They didn't need to talk about them. Like I had the same complaint of the last live stream. Why are we spending so long talking about these characters and not just letting people play them and find out? You have guide videos that people can go watch.
My favorite thing when they were showing off the characters and their skills, on the left-hand side was talking about like the past or the history of the person, like in words and stuff like that. It wasn't like a written format of what their skills were doing. It was just this person flowingly does this into this skill and stuff for this reason. And I was like, what the fuck? But I get, so like I'm not gonna, it's a gotcha game. I get why they're focusing on the characters.
Yeah,
It makes sense.
definitely.
They're 100% emulating their asses off of what Genshin Impact and Wu was doing. Whether you like it or not, they are following that format, which is gonna piss people off. That it's like talking about the elephant in the room. It's that they're doing, Hypergriff is doing what Kuro started doing and Mihoyo started doing and stuff, and focuses more on the characters and stuff, less about the world. And I get it. It looks good in Arknight. The Arknights is really well done. But what they're doing right now is what they're doing over there that everyone hates on. Just saying. But
Yeah, I mean, my main thing right now is like, okay, we have issues with the game, but you can completely ignore the issues the game has, and there is still a whole bunch of other things that they could have talked about in a 40-minute live stream or video, I guess, rather than spending 16 minutes of it talking about just the characters. It's like, what about,
Like, yes,
going more in depth on the factory? What about that? Or, what about you talking about what your actual concrete future plans are, like a roadmap? That would have been neat. And then instead,
yeah, obviously they need to
16
talk
minutes
about characters, but just not that much time.
Yeah,
we don't need
definitely
to
not that much time.
And I don't need to spend a full 5 minutes watching the same exact animation loop 15 times while they explain what the animation is doing.
let me pull up. Oh yeah, they were looping this shit. So someone brought it up is like characters in the meta game. It's the same way they do in OG Arknights and CN live streams. They do spend a lot of time on the characters. You're right, but I feel like they're not in a position to be comfortable. You should not be. They're acting comfortable as if they're happy with the product, they're happy with the reception, they're happy with the game's current state, and that's not good.
yeah.
It was. You could say like, oh, maybe they're stressing in the background. When Kuro came out with Wuwa and they were getting dogged on, it was very obvious they were stressed out of their minds and they were pushing out content in QOL, and it led to up to 2.0 and stuff like that.
and I don't see. Maybe it's like, oh, should I be seeing that stress factor and stuff? But I'm not seeing the signs of what the game's currently in. I'll take that. Oh, fuck you,
So
Hanningwing.
I I
to be
think
oh, go ahead, sorry.
that the video was more of them just doing what they usually do because it was in the same format as the original Arknights on how they do like live streams or character reveals and trailers and stuff like that.
True.
Maybe that's just my weird opinion that I actually don't like how regular Arknights focuses so much on explaining those character mechanics. That's just me. I come at these gotcha games not necessarily from a gotcha standpoint, I guess, but
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
fair.
to be a bit less doomer about it, like again, yes, there are glaring problems, but at the same time, I do think the game itself is good. Like it is a fun game. I wouldn't have spent like 150 hours or however much time I've put into it at this point playing the game
Yeah.
if it wasn't good and worth my time to do so. But it's also just worth noting that like, well, yes, it's very fun. There are things that can make it better. And complacency or feeling comfortable is what will result in the game going down the route of like, something like Genshin where it took 3 years to implement quality of life.
Yeah.
It's like, and yes, you can go out down the route of being like, it's hypergriff and, we got to put some faith in them. They did a great job, but it's the first patch of the game. This is where you should kind of be locking in and being like, all right, we're getting widespread appeal right now. A lot of people are playing our game and stuff like that. What can we do to make it better and listen to the feedback people are giving? So,
Yeah. And
As someone who's been returning to WUA for a bit now, just off stream, I've been enjoying it, but I can still say that I prefer Enfield at the moment
yeah,
in a lot of
agreed.
different ways.
I mean, I literally quit WUA to play Enfield, so yeah, I get it.
and we wouldn't be
WUA's just my if I'm bored game.
and I wouldn't be bitching about all these things if I didn't think the game was good. The game's got really fucking good bones. I've talked about this multiple times.
Yeah.
It really does. It has no fucking soul. I know that's going to piss off a shit ton of people, but it feels like someone wearing the Arknight's skin over their face and right now. And Arknights has a fucking soul. It's got personality. Enfield, I really feel like doesn't have a personality, honestly. I know that's a hot fucking take. And it's a really good game. It's like everyone says, it's more like a game than a gotcha game. A really good game. But I don't know where they're taking this game.
I'll be honest, I feel like the lack of the soul mostly comes from Valley 4.
Yeah.
Because like that is the
Yeah,
most
that's what I was about to
generic,
say.
like bare bones thing you could possibly have in a gotcha game. And then I feel like
Yeah.
once you get to Wu Ling, that's where you start seeing the personality because like the region is fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's just talking about the region. The characters themselves are better. The story feels more engaging so far. We're actually sort of getting an introduction to the villains. And again, as I said earlier, we don't even know if they're real villains because they clearly, have some connections to us as a player. That's all I'll say without going into spoilers.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
maybe, sorry. Maybe I am schizoing out because I have been stuck in Valley 4 for over a month now. Maybe Valley 4 is eating
I don't
me
blame you for
alive.
that.
But
I can see that.
I would say like yes, I am probably schizoing out over Valley 4, and I am schizoing out of because of Valley 4. But I am schizoing out because of Valley 4. So it's like Valley 4 is the fucking issue, and that needs to be addressed. Or new players are bouncing off because I'll be honest, a lot of fucking people are bouncing off. I have recommended this game to a lot of people. A lot of people have played it. V4 probably as like a whole, it's really well done. It's a good game and but it does not push the personality of the game really well. It doesn't push the direction of the game really well. And if people introduce it and go, "Oh, this is the game, tutorial hell," fuck that. I'm out. That needs to be fixed.
Yeah, I mean, the best part of Valley 4 is unironically just the factory, which is like, and sure, it is a factory game. It's good that that's a big part of it, but at the same time, it's like, well, shouldn't you also, want people to like your characters and, the world and the story? It's like, well, that's kind of missing right now, at least in my
I'd like to
opinion.
push back on that. The best part is Lavatane's quest.
Okay,
I
that's
don't
fair.
really conclude that in Valley
I
4
mean-
personally.
It is in Valley 4 though.
It is in Valley 4, but I kind of define the character quests as their own thing at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. But I personally started feeling more interest in the story around the Load Spring.
And to
Yeah.
add context to all my dooming I've been doing, because I've been dooming like a motherfucker, straight up, is because it's context in Valley 4 because I haven't made Wooling, and obviously if I get to Wooling, I might have a better experience and it might go up and stuff like that. But that does not take away from the fact that Valley 4 is slaughtering Doomer Dead. Now shut the fuck up anyway. Valley 4 is slaughtering the new player experience. If I did not have history with Arknights and did not enjoy Arknights as much, I would have already quit the game. Just straight up. Because Valley 4 was such an unfun experience. And like they tried to do this big Avengers moment. Just like how Woowa did their big Avengers moment in 1.0. They tried to do it at the fucking Power Plateau. And it was the cringiest, most just moment I've
This
I
is
died.
this is where I gotta push back on you a little bit, because that moment, yes, it can be cringe if you have not been enjoying the game up to that point, which you definitely weren't. I'm not taking that away from you at all. But if you, like, for me, reading through the story, starting with Load Spring and then going into Power Plateau, talking to like Crow, for instance. Dr. Crow seems to be a pretty mixed received character.
Yeah.
I really like him because the moment that he starts talking about, what the UWST are, the UTAG order, how all of those, actually seeing how the UWST proceeds to protect its employees, that leads up really well, I think, into that Avengers moment. And it's just that if you don't enjoy what you've already played, if you've started skipping by that point, it's going to feel like it just came out of nowhere and was undeserved.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm right with you there. I love that moment.
I hated it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Freezy. I cannot speak Russian, so I probably butchered how you pronounce that word.
Utug.
Utug or Utug?
Utug.
Mindfire says Valley 4 is the main place because it's complete.
Yep.
Mondstadt is the main place because it felt like a home. So Valley 4 should have saved at least half the factory stuff until after Power Plateau. I kind of agree with that, to be honest. Because it would kind of get you through the rough parts quicker.
Yeah.
And then you kind of just get the big burst of like, oh, okay, Valley 4 is kind of like, we're closer to the end, and now I get this whole swath of content to do, which is like the better part of the story, all the factory stuff. Like that could have been a neat way to do it.
Yeah, like you stabilize the system. As
long as they still give you the option to unlock the factory earlier, like maybe give the option to like you don't have to bother with it, but it's still there for you to play. Because I don't feel like I would have been able to get through it if the factory hadn't been there from the beginning.
I feel like as soon as like you turn on the power to the hub base, then like it should be optional from there. Because the hub base was very like necessary to have power at the time.
Yeah.
That way we could get like messages from the outside so we know what's going on.
Their application of the factory into Valley 4 was, I feel like, poorly done. Because to be honest, like I'm the type of guy that I don't like to go step by step into something. You know how it's like where you go from green and then you go to blue and then you go to purple, then you go to gold. I go, well, why can't I just fucking skip the gold? So I'm like, I did the initial stuff for the factory and I'm like, I really want to play factory. I really want to play factory, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do this blue and then purple or whatever. I'm just gonna wait until I finish Power Plateau and then burst up to that because the game doesn't challenge me enough to get better gear or need a better factory, honestly. And the application was, I would say, like, I get why you have the factory in the game, for the resources and then also for the outpost system, and it like lore wise as well helps out with that. But it didn't hit. It didn't really hit too much, honestly.
But it's funny because that Avengers moment, just to go back to it really quick. One thing I will say is I played some ZZZ as I was getting up to Enfield's release, And the thing that I hate most in that game are those Avengers moments, because it feels like they do them
Oh my
every
God.
single storyline,
Oh, yeah.
and I just don't care half the
I've
time. I'm
noticed
just
that.
like, I hope Infield does not do the same. Don't give me an Avengers moment at every single finale. I want it to be varied and different.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, this is a game that I feel like shouldn't have needed an Avengers moment if we're basing it off of
Agreed.
the history of the lore of what they were coming from Arknights. I feel like an Avengers moment is being what's the word I'm looking for? It's like discounting the story, like the not the authors, but like the story writers of the game. It feels almost like this is the best you could come up with. Like this feels not like something someone had wrote. It doesn't feel like something that a writer that had written fucking Arknights, and it's like this doesn't feel like something they wrote. It doesn't feel like something Arknights authors wrote. This feels like something a new guy came in and wrote Enfield's story or whatever. And
Again, this is where I have to go back and go, if you look at the beta story, there's a lot more there.
Yeah.
It's just, I think they took feedback a little, maybe too heavily, at risk of sounding too much like Tobo. They might have taken feedback a little too heavily on those betas and removed too much of the story to the point where it now is lacking. Like they did it to speed you through Valley 4 more so, but
yeah.
it actually removed a lot of that context that was there before.
I say this a lot. I agree with a lot of Tobo's points. I just disagree with his applications of it and how he talks with other people about it. But I do agree with a lot of his sentiments about the game. Not everything, because I wasn't a fan of the old combat from the alpha, but and I like my dodges. But yeah, I feel like I get why they probably were like, okay, 60 hours is too long, let's reduce it to 30 hours and be more digestible and stuff like that. But in the process of doing that, they took away the direction and they took away the soul out of the main story going through Valley 4, and it is killing me. I'm dying inside. I am suffering, and if I'm suffering and I'm committed through Arknights, look at the people they came into this game because they thought it looked cool and that was it. They're like, fuck
Yeah,
this. They're not
there,
gonna write a
I
story.
don't disagree that the Valley 4 has a lack of soul. But Wuling is definitely did better on that. However, I can say like lore stuff, like once you get to Load Spring and then on it definitely goes up in quality.
Mm-hmm. Like I'll say Load Spring kind of they hinted at like the Originium tree and stuff, and I was like, oh, it's getting fucking interesting, you know. Let's get to it and
Yeah.
stuff, and then that little bit of hype got slaughtered with that Images moment, and I was like, well, I think I might just take myself out back and put myself down because that shit killed me inside. I think my soul got ripped out, but we'll see. Obviously, I still have to get to Wu Ling. I still have a bunch of side objectives to do in V4.
Yeah, I think like as soon as you start Wuling, like with a fresh mindset, like you definitely enjoy it.
Yeah,
My recommendation there is once you get back to the Dezhang and they're talking about meeting with the city leaders, start paying attention then.
Okay.
Everything up to that point, you can kind of wave away. It doesn't matter as much. But once you get to that cutscene, pay attention.
I saw something good, and I thought of something. It was they're treating the lore as how they're treating the economy. There's a fuck ton of polls, but it's so spread out and so little. You're getting like 0.2 of a poll and shit like that. It's like that. You're getting like 0.2 of a lore drop, and it's just everywhere and stuff. And I feel like this is it's funny. Just I'm being an Arknights guy, even though I barely have played Arknights. I played 4 months of it, but it's like the stuff I enjoyed from Arknights is not front and center in Enfield when the first word of Arknights Enfield is fucking Arknights. So it's like it's like why is the best stuff about Arknights and the history and the lore and the overarching story probably where there's probably an overarching story between Arknights and Enfield together. Why is that not front and center instead? And then they did this whole thing of like, we're a crisis team, but we're not going to even act like a crisis team at all. You know, we're the crisis team for Valley 4, but we're a fucking really slow crisis team that has to stop to talk to everyone every 5 steps. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Notice,
honestly,
Fleur, you keep wanting to say something.
wait, what'd you say?
I just noticed you were trying to speak in, and we kept interrupting you, so I wanted to give
Wait,
you a
was
chance
I?
to speak. Looked like you were. My bad.
I don't think so. I was gonna say, I think that if Valley 4 played more into us being a crisis team and stuff like that, it definitely could have been more interesting.
Yeah.
Because realistically, like we meet up with Perlica, we go to the hub, and then it's all on fire and everything else, and then like we just go off, do our own thing, and then we come back a bit later, and it's like, oh, the hub's fixed. It's like, okay. I mean, and yeah, and it's like, yeah, we got the power and stuff like that turned on, but at the same time, it's like for being in a crisis, it didn't necessarily feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was even more of a point when they made a joke of the I don't remember if it was the power plateau or the lodestone spring where like the giant aether thing opened in the sky and there was the explosion.
Portal.
And like they made a joke of that. And it's like, don't get me wrong, it was funny, but at the same time it's like if you're making a joke of an actual crisis, then how is anyone meant to take the crisis seriously?
Mm-hmm.
So
I honestly don't
I don't
remember the
know.
joke.
Yeah.
I just remember, holy!
Well, the
Well,
joke
that's the
was
thing,
her
the
face.
joke-
Like, yeah,
The joke is her going, "It's a stronghold. It will never go down." And then, of course, when she says it is when it all
exactly.
blows up.
Yeah,
Ow.
And my issue is like I have no issue with that really. The issue is that all the follow up to it felt like we were taking it super slow to eventually get there.
It definitely felt dragged on. And I'll be honest, like at first, I hate rewrites of stories. I ain't gonna lie. They need to just fucking shoot Valley Forge story and rewrite it. Like, fuck. Because it is just an unenjoyable experience. Yes, if you ripped out half the tutorials, it could make it slightly more enjoyable. But even then, you'd have to rip out the tutorials. You'd have to optimize the storytelling just better. I'm not stopping every 5 feet. Or like we have a conversation and I go back to my character and then immediately get ripped into my watch to go look at that broadcast or the breakdown and stuff or the meeting, the what's it called, the solid snake thing. And it's just the Valley 4 is just it's a what's it called, a development nightmare almost, where they just kept working on it and it just got out of hand basically.
That's how I feel.
You know,
They realized that a full rewrite would take way too long for release, and then they just were like, okay, we're gonna cut out a bunch of stuff, reorder some things, and then release.
I feel like if the science park wouldn't be there, if the science park wasn't there, the sense of urgency might feel higher because we're actively moving towards that location at a faster rate.
Yeah. So if
But we are stopped at the load spring because of the current issue there.
the whole
Yeah,
science
Load Spring
park
makes sense.
is surrounding that fucking robot because we broke him on accident. That whole science park situation was set up to meet Yvonne and fix the robot, basically.
It was just an excuse to meet Yvonne, is my hot take
Yep.
on that
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, I believe like Valley 4, like the pacing of the story, the issue is the science park.
I could see that. I definitely did get dragged down substantially in there. And I don't know. I feel like I've had so many issues of Valley 4 and then popping into the broadcast and basically seeing none of the, I would say, story issues or just any issues in Valley 4 being addressed was kind of like a fuck moment for me of like, well, it's going to be really rough to get new players for this game then, because trying to convince someone to suffer through that other than just skipping. It's like, yeah, just don't care about the story. Just, you know, play 100 hours and it's fun at 100 hours. You know, it's like an MMO. Just wait until Wooling. It's way more better in Wooling. It's like, that should not be a thing. It should be better out the gate. I shouldn't have to suffer for the game. The game should suffer for me. Why do I have to prove my commitment to the game? The game should prove its commitment to the player base. And
I originally was comparing Valley 4 to like Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn, which a lot of people say the same thing about. I actually have soured more on it since then, and now I'm
Really?
comparing it more to Final Fantasy XIV 1.0, which was the one that they literally destroyed in order to remake the whole game.
And you know they could do it. They write fucking stories so well. They could just be like, we're blowing up Valley 4 and rebuilding it, and we're having a whole new player experience. And that shit would be the coolest fucking moment in Gacha, and everyone would fucking talk about it all the time if they did something like that. As long as they have good fucking writers and not the whoever did Valley 4.
I feel like honestly, I feel like the landscape of gachas kind of changed.
True.
Where like if they literally just announced like, hey, we're just gonna nuke Valley 4 and rewrite our entire beginning, you're gonna get a lot of people being like, hey, Enfield sucks. Screw their story sucks so much they have to rewrite everything. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't
know.
want that either. I want a middle ground. I want us to go, hey, let's streamline tutorials, maybe streamline some of the cutscenes. My biggest thing is I agree with Deadhound very adamantly. Having to walk 5 or 10 feet for the next cutscene, just
Yeah.
why? Just make the cutscene continue playing.
Yeah. And the address
But like do that and it'd be a lot better.
Yeah, they address like other people making content shitting on the game. I feel like that's a thing that is a permanent fixture of the space, and it probably will be for at least another
Unfortunately, yeah.
decade. Because I'll say this: we had that whole fucking drama in the Saint Cap, all that other fucking bullshit was like
Yep.
like 15 fucking people, and they still hate each other, and it slowly died down. And you know what happened? They all went back to talking about drama and stuff like that. Half of them were making shitting on Enfield videos, or like the community are fucking racist or whatever the fuck for some reason. Is I saw a couple of videos of those like right after, like today and yesterday. I was like, all right, so no one learned anything. We're just back to the same fucking you thing, the same rotation. You know, we just spent 3 weeks of you guys basically calling each other pedophiles and doxing each other and all this shit, and you guys came back to the same result of, well, I'm just gonna keep doing the same shit I'm doing anyways. I didn't learn fucking shit. Like, all right, you guys are fucked, honestly, because holy shit, if that doesn't fix you,
I don't
know.
I don't know if that's as much a problem with the game necessarily as much as just the YouTube gacha community when it comes to the very big.
I mean, it's just
content
there's a
creators,
lot
though.
of tribalism around gacha nowadays.
The YouTube meta,
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, like,
Yeah.
It is.
talking about drama automatically boosts by like 100. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, when I go on my fucking
does.
tangents on stream about like some drama between CCs, I literally double, if not triple, my viewership for no fucking reason.
Yep.
Other than the fact I'm talking about drama.
I mean, I think back to the original Arknights release, and it's like, regardless of what you think of the man or the situation, the Tectone thing is the exact same. I mean, maybe not as toxic. He wasn't saying horribly racist things, I don't think, but it was still definitely there. Drama overtook once people were caught up to the game.
Yeah. And it's also it's funny because it was at first I was like, well, it's probably because there's no content and people are making all these videos, and then there's like a fuck ton of content and people are still making these fucking videos. I'm like, well, okay, well, these guys that's fuck it, I guess, and stuff, you know. And it's an impossible thing. Like, I always say this is, I don't give a fuck about people making shitting on Enfield like videos or whatever and stuff like that, because it's like, well, I don't want to convince them to play the game because they're just not an enjoyable person to be making content for the game. And I don't really want to convince their community to play the game if this is what the community enjoys, their community enjoys to watch. So I don't really care about that. It's when it gets to the point where they're like, this content creator is a fucking retard because he likes games without 50-50s versus games with 50-50s and stuff like that. And he might be on the spectrum. It's like, what the fuck? But other than that, you know, it's not too bad.
That's why I just choose not to interact. I get all my news about the drama from like people sending me it on Discord, and I don't give any views to those people. I'll avoid it and focus on what I actually care about, which is reading lore and getting actual opinions that actually allow conversations to happen.
Yeah, that's why I like to address the game more than the issue and stuff like that. Because I'll be honest, I really. I'll say this: the community for Enfield isn't it's a Reddit community primarily, I would say, from what I've seen. And I don't really have any social media, so I haven't really seen anything. But it seems to be primarily like a Reddit community, like on Reddit.
Yeah, it doesn't. From what I've seen, it doesn't have a super strong community on Twitter.
Yeah.
And then YouTube. But like, there's some people trying to make content for it, but it is definitely one of the smaller games
It's
that I've seen out of
it's
like the main ones.
not doing well on YouTube. I'll be honest. Enfield
Yeah.
is not doing well on YouTube at all. Like, there's people that are really pushing out the videos for Enfield and kind of pushing for dedicated Enfield CCs, but it's not a game that does well on YouTube. I don't know why. I don't know why people don't like to watch YouTube videos for it, or like enjoy watching.
I mean,
other
I
creators,
think
but
honestly, I think the reason that it's not doing amazing right now is because, and this is more of like a total gotcha thing, where it's like the gotcha landscape has changed nowadays, where like if you look at just the characters, if you go back 5 years in the gotcha landscape, people would roll characters because they like the character.
yeah,
Whereas nowadays it's like, what does the character do? How strong are they? What's their kit? How are they going to be in the meta?
mm-hmm.
And like that's where it all
Meta.
goes nowadays. Where it's like a lot of the YouTube content nowadays, especially for gotchas, is guides. So, like, if you go look at Enfield guide makers, they're not doing that bad, especially early on with like Levitain stuff and things like that.
yeah,
And then like factory guides, they're doing well. They're doing pretty well as well because that's getting the people that are like, well, I like the other stuff, but I don't give a shit about the factory. So they're just like, I'll just go look up a guide and get a blueprint and do that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But
Yeah.
like actual content, which would be like discussion and going in depth on the lore and all the other things like that stuff, yeah, that's going to take a very long time to do well, if it ever does at all.
Yeah.
So
I think it needs a jump start.
Like
Honestly,
the lore,
like you talk about lore.
I have quite a lot. Yeah, I have quite a lot to say about lore. The problem is trying to say anything without making assumptions right now is difficult. Which was true for original Arknights too. In original Arknights, you read character profiles, you were going through and trying to dissect all of the tidbits that you can find in the story. But actually saying anything with any concrete certainty was difficult. And it took a couple of years for the lore creators to actually have enough to create something that was for sure. Which is why I think right now we need people who are creating more theory content.
I'm trying.
That's kind of where I'm angling myself.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't started
okay.
on that script yet, but I do plan to
You
make
need
a
to get on
theory
that.
video. Well,
Yes, do so.
The other video is currently in the editing process. It's almost done,
Nice.
Good.
and that
wanna
one's
see
like
it.
completely different.
Kuro and Chad actually made a pretty good point as well. From at least from what I've seen, a lot of people have been playing the game slowly.
True. Yeah.
So like, and I'll be honest, I think that really just goes to the idea that despite the flaws that the game has, it really is more of a game than anything else. It doesn't feel like a gotcha. I mean, two of the people in this call have said they haven't done like pretty much any limited pulls, and it's like
True.
that's kind of crazy when you think about it. So it's more of a game that like incentivizes you to just, okay, I'm going to take Valley 4 at my own pace and, work on upgrading my outposts and, like, I'm going to do all these side quests and stuff like that. And then it's like, okay, well, then they're not getting to the point where they know everything about the game to talk about it and interact with it because they just haven't gotten that far in the game yet. So I think that's definitely a part of it too. But yeah,
I'm
I'm the kind of person who will play a game all the way through and then I'll go watch Let's Plays of the game I just played.
yeah.
I'm weirdly autistic about that, I guess.
I think like what
I do that all the time.
These types of games, these big games need to have a really strong community and stuff like that. And if it's one of those, like, if you don't have a strong community, it sucks. Where it's like, if you don't have one of those communities where they schizo out over shit, it doesn't turn out so well. Where it's like you need to have a strong community backing the game and constantly talking about the game to get new players into it. Because basically, if you look at Genshin, you look at Wuwa, they're always fucking talking about the game and trying to get new people to play it and stuff like that. and it's one of those. But they're really big games. But I feel like this game needs that community to survive. And for like smaller games like Arknights, it doesn't really need it because it's a smaller, easier to manufacture game. But this is a really expensive to manufacture game, and if they don't have a bunch of new players coming in and new breeds and a big strong community, then that's obviously less income, and less incomes means cutting corners, doing less things, less content, and stuff like that. And it's the bottom line that matters at the end of it. Yeah. Let's see.
Well, let's talk characters really quick.
Oh yeah, we can talk about that.
Okay.
We have 2 new characters that have come out. They seem to fill specific team niches a little bit
That's
in
what
an
you think.
interesting way, actually.
Yeah, it's y'all.
Well, so I wanted your opinion on that, Soul, because with the Shatter team, how does Tang Tang look like she's gonna fit in?
Tong Tong. Close enough.
Or Tong Tong, sorry.
But so as long as she inflicts cryo infliction, that's all I really need.
Which she does.
But-
I think
she's shown
yeah,
that.
she
But,
does
like,
have skill, I think, right?
Her ultimate, oh my god.
Just blocking enemies in place is already what the Shatter team does.
I locked them down for so long. Why not add more to it?
Isn't
Why
she
not?
an AoE infliction? So she can inflict the cryo, but like an AoE, which is insane, honestly. It's like, holy fuck.
I think the main problem that I have with the Shatter team is I don't have a way to inflict a lot of solidification across multiple targets
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't pull for Gilberta.
Ooh.
But if I had Gilberta, that problem goes out the window.
Yeah. True. And then the other one. So I like how they did show off Tong Tong, where they showed her off with a more of a boss killer team, and then they also showed her off with more of a mob killer team, like an AoE killing team. I think that was actually kind of smart of them to show off the character in those formats.
They also did a free-to-play team and a not-so-free-to-play team.
Mm-hmm. It was very purposeful. So I thought that was really good of them to do that. Thought that was neat. They didn't really do that with Rosie, though. She's very specific. They were very specific with her. And
No, they did a free-to-play team with her.
did they? Might have missed that.
No, it was the first one.
Was the first one?
The not Gilberta one.
Maybe I was all wrapped up in like the lore sense, because the first team they showed off was her, administrator, her fucking brother, and who was the
I
last
can't
person?
remember the fourth.
Japan.
Was it Japan?
Japan, yeah.
Yeah, I saw fucking up.
I think it was Japan.
I think I got stun locked because Japan did that fucking WWE fucking slam down on that dude, and I fucking lost it, and I was like completely zoned out.
That's his crush.
That shit was so fucking funny.
That's his combo. I will sometimes pull him out just for that because it's fun.
That shit had me laughing. I was just like, I couldn't fucking pay attention to the rest of the fucking video for like a good minute or two after that.
Yeah, that was the first.
I'm looking forward to
Gilberta was
Rossi
insane.
quite a bit.
Oh yeah,
Because Rossi, with her combo of like, hey, I'm going to create arts vulnerability with heat infliction that then allows me to create more vulnerability for physical. Physical already has some decent combo teams, but heat plus physical is what I was actually trying to build a couple weeks ago, and now it looks like we actually have a character who will make that possible.
I look forward to. Go ahead. I look forward to getting Rossi buffed with Estella's physical susceptibility from Shatter. Boy, Shatter!
Yeah, I was just gonna say the neat thing with Rossi, in my opinion, is that she actually allows you to have 2 separate physical teams now. Because you can run like the traditional physical team, but then you can also run one based off of transitioning other elemental stuff into physical. Like you could do like Akakuri, Wolfguard, Rossi, plus a physical DPS, and then that would be your second physical team, whereas the normal one would have like Pog, Li Fang, your other physical DPS, and then Gilberta or Ardelia or whatever else. So Chen.
Shatter.
So I think that's pretty interesting because that opens up more just general team variety within its own element, if you could consider physical an element, I guess. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you should. Yeah, I think because of the vulnerabilities, you could consider it as an element. Just not. It's the physical element rather than like a element.
Mm.
Yeah,
Arts element. There we go.
I think they're good
So,
characters.
yeah, Dracnus, you said you were looking forward and actually planning to roll for Rossi.
Yes.
Okay.
I will. I want both of them because the game has also decided to bless me with 3 last rights that I didn't ask for. So I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta
Fair
level
enough.
her now. And so Tang Tang looks like, or Tong Tong looks like she'll actually play with Last Right really well as well. So um, I'm kind of looking forward to her, but at the same time, I think Rossi fits better into what I've already been enjoying. So I'm probably going to be saving more for Rossi, and then Tong Tong, I'll just be like, all right, I'll put my free rolls into her, but I'm not going to put money down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both work for my teams.
Are dual element teams a viable option right now, or not really?
100%.
Really?
Yeah.
Some of them.
Okay.
A
Yeah.
lot of people are saying mono element is the only thing that you can run, but no, there's a bunch of dual that you can run as well.
Shatter
like-
is the is the variety team right now.
Okay.
Yeah, you could run shatter teams, you can run cryo nature. I like cryo physical. Dracnus was just saying he was trying to run physical heat. So like there's options. It's just you got to figure out. The most important thing that you got to figure out is the combo skill rotation and making sure that everyone can actually consistently get them off. Because that is honestly where a lot of the not only just like damage but just nuance comes from with different team compositions. So
Yeah.
Well, and the way that elements work, where you want to build up one element, put another one on there to get a different kind of affliction, and you can do it in the opposite order to get the other affliction,
yeah.
also means it creates a more interesting gameplay loop where you're trying to actually juggle which elements you have active at once so you can get the most damage output.
Yeah, and it also means that every single team in the game can technically be played in 2 separate ways as long as they have 2 elements.
True.
Which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, I want to ask this. What's your thoughts on Administrator? I love the fact how useful it is compared to every other fucking gotcha game where the main character just feels bad and doesn't play good.
Yeah, I like them quite a lot. I mean, they have literally the easiest combo skill in the entire game to activate.
Yep.
Once you finish Wu Ling, you actually unlock their P2, which gives them an attack buff, which makes them a team-wide attack buff. So it makes them sort of like a support. They just have a lot of flexibility. They can go in like everywhere, which is nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
actually.
they are almost a mainstay on my shatter teams, but they can easily be swapped out for like literally any, as long as
Well, and just the Originium crystal like status that they apply
That as well,
makes
yeah.
them extremely good for both physical solidification, and then even if you're not running either of those, it's still a damage boost because of the shatter mechanic that is implemented in that one status proc.
Yeah, because they're my main team.
They're just good.
They're my only team I use, which I use Administrator, Chen, Li Fang, and Ardelia. And I've just been using them the entire time since and haven't switched off at all. And I've just had 0 issues. They've been great all the way through. They're good at killing. They're decent at killing the boss. Not too great, but they're really good at killing mobs. So I'm having a good time. I've been doing a lot. I've been doing the whole like I'm gonna avoid looking into building a team until I get to like gold gear or whatever, purple gear. And so I've just been kind of ignoring
I didn't even touch gear until gold.
Yeah, I've just been ignoring team building. I've been ignoring kind of factory until I got done with Power Plateau. I've just been kind of ignoring everything because like I felt like I didn't feel the need to work on the factory until Power Plateau for the fucking Sand Leaf shit.
I didn't feel a need to actually think about my team building. Like I was doing it just because I enjoy the team building process. But I didn't really need to think about what I was doing. The combat felt like it was easy enough for most of the game that it didn't feel necessary to interact with it until like Umbral Monument, really.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Let's see here. Where's my goddamn images? You keep talking. I'm looking at some photos real quick. Endfield, because we're getting new gear.
Is that red for a reason, or is that like that's not like
We don't know. Some people are speculating that's
So
6-star gear, and other people are just like, no, it's just going to be other variants of the currently existing gold gear. So
So that's what's interesting. I initially was like, oh, it looks like it's going to be an upgrade because that's kind of what they say in the image. But then when you listen to what they're saying, they are talking about it instead being more like a side grade. It is extra options for gear, which I'm very curious to see how they're going to implement that.
yeah. I don't know
Give
why
me a
it's-
will set for Estella already. Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not gold and just had different
I
stuff on it. But
I think it's because the ore is going to be red. It's the
fair.
new ore.
Fair.
Yeah, it's
You
based
make
on the
the
Cuprium.
component.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
the new
I
components
do
are
think
made
it
from
brings
it.
up a neat. I do think it brings up a neat discussion point, regardless, and the fact that like gold gear right now is only level 70, despite us being able to go to level 90. So there is a very real possibility that we will get 6-star gear at some point,
true is true.
and that kind of adds a whole level of like, uh, it would almost make it feel like a gear tier upgrade that you would get in like an MMO, where it's like new content releases and now you've got a new thing to chase after, which is like, oh, my character that used to be on gold gear, now I have to, go and get red gear on,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting.
As
Um,
long
yeah.
as long as they don't keep reusing the same gear set bonuses, because the set bonuses to me are the actual interesting part.
Right,
Trying
definitely.
to build around one specific set bonus that allows your teams to interact in certain ways, and I want more unique ones rather than just copying the same basic. Like I think we have like 6 or 7 that are actually useful.
I think these gear sets are making up for the missing pieces in each of those sets.
I'm a bit touchy on that because I want more gear, a more horizontal progression for gear, but then like if you look at Wu as an example, they get a new set of echoes every patch, but those new set of echoes are the exact ones for the new characters, and they're like 99% of the time
Yeah.
the best option. And there's like what I want to see is like a 50% of the time this set's the best option, 30% of the time this set's the best option, and then 20% of the time this set's the best option. I do not want to see the 99.5 this set's the best option, and then 0.4 is this set, and then 0.1 is this set, because no one's ever going to choose the other options where they go, oh, you have a bunch of build variety. It's like, yes, you have multiple options you can put armor on, but you're not going to put a will armor on a character that needs strength. It's kind of one of those like, the option's there, you're not going to do it because it's a bad decision. And it's what I want to see is
So that's why I like
horizontal progression.
I see like Ember's design, for instance. Ember, you can build her to be fully focused on just DPS, and there's like 2 sets in the game that are meta for that purpose. But then you also have the ability to build her around will and HP, which increase her healing and her shields for other team members. So you can make her a support and you can build around that instead. I want that to be the direction the game takes. Have characters have multiple roles they can fill depending on the gear that you decide to build for them.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like I'm having that issue with Estella. Like she only has really one gear set,
Oh
and
yeah,
I can't deviate from that because there's nothing else for her. Will and strength is not common.
yeah. What I oh god, what was I gonna fucking say? Oh Jesus, oh my god. Oh, what I did like to see. So if you looked when you were looking at weapons for characters and you clicked down at like the recommended options, they had like 6 weapons, and 3 of them were the best ones that line up with her skills, and the other 3 are the best ones that line up with her stats. And I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, okay, well, that provides 2 different options, at least 2 different options for sets, where one of them is banking more on basically stat bluffing and shit like that, and the other one's based off of your affecting your skills. And if they could balance that properly, where either one's a good option depending on the situation and stuff like that, I thought that'd be pretty cool, honestly.
Yeah, but weapons I think need more variety still, because right now most characters feel like they only make use of maybe 1 or 2 weapons that are actually useful for them, and the rest are kind of just, oh, you don't have these other weapons, here's like a stat boost weapon and that's all it does for you. So more weapon variety I think will help right now,
I
but
think they have a
I
lot
like
of
how it works.
I think compared to other games, their weapon variety is insanely well done. Honestly, I feel like I'm drowning in weapons. To be honest, where I feel very comfortable just throwing any 6-star on these characters versus having their signature weapon and stuff. Like
Mhm.
maybe that's just me coming off of like Woo and then looking at like these other gotcha games where it's either
Right.
you use your signature or you use someone else's signature, which just fucking feels weird, or you use a 4-star weapon and stuff like that. Versus where it's like
Yeah.
this game where you can use like manufactured weapons and it may not be their signature, but it makes sense in a weird way because
Yeah.
it's like a factory. Like if you look at the 5-stars, their signature weapons are 5-star weapons, even though they're not the best option for them. Their best option is 6-star weapons, but their signatures are like 5-stars matchups as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I never got to the end game of a lot of these other 3D gotchas that have weapons. I usually fall off before I get there. So I can't comment on those. I'm just from a standpoint of, hey, look at the build crafting opportunities. You can make weapons that work for tons of different characters just by having those weapon interactions be more in depth.
Oh,
Yeah.
this
I
you go
wanted
ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to give an example. Like Snowshine has 4 different weapons she can equip, and they all work pretty well for her.
What I wanted to ask, because I have no experience in this because I don't fucking pull characters or weapons. Obviously we know, unlike other gotcha games, the duplicates do not lock a portion of the character, like 50% or 30% of the character's abilities behind having a duplicate, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
Keep
you.
it that way.
What about the weapons?
Weapons are
They just also
basically the
give
same.
stat bonuses. Yeah,
It-
same
Yeah,
thing.
for the most
Okay.
part.
It's more of like an
Especially
aesthetic
with the-
purposes, mostly.
It's basically the last stat that would get upgraded.
Okay.
The unique like bonus ability that the weapons provide get stat bonuses for their duplicates.
So
But
if
you
you
can
want a
also boost that with
999
essences. So
Or
if you want a 999 weapon, you have to max potential the weapon.
I think I misworded what I was meaning to say there. I meant as in, does the character need their specific signature weapon?
No.
Does it?
No.
Does it feel like any percentage of the character's locked behind it, other than just an aesthetic percentage?
if you want specific builds for that character, then yes. But most of the time you don't need that specific build. That's just a thing that you would want to go for if you're trying to go for a
I would say a
specific
good
kind of
example
team.
of that would be Gilberta. Because if you get Gilberta Sig, you get a shitload of ultimate gain efficiency, which is nice.
Yeah.
And that makes her a much better supporter. But she's already an extremely good crowd control character. So it's like, sure, you could go get her Sig and it would make her ult better, but it's like, it's not necessary by any stretch of the imagination.
You can also just use Stanza, which is a 5-star.
Exactly, yeah.
Cool. So that's good. Because I'll be honest, based off my interactions, I feel really happy with the weapons and how many weapon variety is differing to Drac. But also, how about, do you feel like we're good? Because I have one fucking team. I don't use anything else. Does it feel like there's enough resources where you can actually experiment, or do you feel like you're kind of stuck with one team or two teams, or do you have the option to really get crazy and experiment with multiple teams and stuff like that and really break it down into get risky with it?
I think it depends
It's
on your
hard for-
definition. Yeah.
It's hard for me to say because I bought the battle pass, like the $10 one.
I mean, I'm gonna buy it. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm gonna buy
I
it.
did that too.
But with that said, I have a fully built electric team. I have a fully built Levitain team. I have a fully built Yvonne team, and I also built Last Right so I could swap her out for Yvonne if I wanted to. And then I'm currently working on a physical team, like a fully single physical team. So it's like, is that enough for me? Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, it's solid enough.
That's
but like,
good.
is every character level 90 max? No. Like my DPS are the highest.
No.
And I left the rest of them around like 60 to 80, and I feel like that's good enough.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
60 to 80 is where I've been aiming.
My Estella is maxed out, but everyone else I'm locking at level 80.
Oh, do we?
yeah,
Did they say? Will next battle pass pay for itself and more? I wonder. Because with this one,
I
you
would
got a
hope
little
so.
bit more of the.
yeah, you got 3 extra.
Yeah.
It
Are
was
they
29 plus 3.
are they gonna do the same for next battle pass with a little bit more? I wonder.
I mean, we're also getting
Only
basic
thing they
pulls
said
in
is
them,
they're
too.
adding Yeah, they're adding extra poles to it, but it doesn't sound like they are removing anything based on what they said in the stream. But
I I feel like the battle pass is like the most worth because if you finish it, you
Yeah.
just keep getting ore barrels.
Yep.
Yeah, I think because I was talking about this on stream. It was like a month ago when the first game first came out. But we were literally like we were breaking down by the numbers between Arknights passes and Enfield, and Enfield was definitely more worth it and stuff. 100%.
OG Archives doesn't even have a battle pass.
Yeah, it was for the it was the 30-day the daily login for the 31 month and stuff, which
Yeah.
it was really good in Enfield. I really like that. And then beyond the pass itself, just buying the pass, was it $10 or $15? I just forget. I think it's 10 bucks.
10.
$10. I think it's really good option. Like if you just do those
Mhm.
two, it's like borderline like you're paying us for a subscription for MMO, basically, in essence.
Yeah.
I think I'm really
I-
happy doing those.
I almost have 100,000 ore barrel.
Oh my god.
For not pulling, that makes sense. Yeah.
Let's see here.
but I haven't. I think I've spent maybe like 30 of my ore geometry, and I'm sitting on like 800 of it now.
Jesus.
I don't have that much ore geometry. I only have 216.
What I do like is that we're getting new 6 stars in the battle pass. I thought that was kind of neat, even though it's in the paid version. It looks like at least. They are
I
doing.
will say,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, sorry, just about the 6 stars. I will say it does bother me that they're so specific to the banner characters.
You're right.
So
Well,
I
yeah.
feel like they are the free to play options for those characters though.
Are they?
And then maybe
Yeah.
later down the line, like if you accidentally get them or you just lose to their rerun or something, like you have an option.
Would they? Are these not in the paid version though? The Glorious Memory and the Home Longing.
No.
Oh, they put them right next to the
I'm
portraits.
pretty sure you get one.
Okay.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
pretty sure you get
one-
one from the non-paid and
Yeah.
one from the paid.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One
Yeah,
one
yeah,
is one is free and one's not.
Okay. Yeah. They're doing the exact same thing the other gotcha games do, where you get a profile theme and a portrait every pass, and I was like, okay, but
I mean, I like that personally.
It's cool.
Yeah.
I love getting that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And then like I'm looking here. Let's see. 5 polls, 10 chartered headhunting permit. That's cool. Just gonna hold on to that. Yeah, that seems. Was that 30, 15 polls? How many polls did someone do the math? I guess they didn't really show off how many polls we're fully getting like for the patch because it's just a preview, not a fucking actual full
Yeah,
view.
no, we would
Yeah,
have
we
to
don't
say like
actually
how
know.
many chests are in the map, how much you get from quests, and blah 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 blah. blah.
And then
okay, let's be real though. With the size of the map, I don't think we're gonna get a whole lot.
see,
Well,
I'm
you
look-
don't know because remember it's verticality more in
Right.
this
So,
map.
but I'm just thinking like if you're looking at just chests, right? Like we'll look at a mid-size region in Valley 4. Like some of those regions only have less than 50 chests. And it's like that's not going to end up being a whole lot.
yeah.
And then like if they have a lot
yeah,
of quests
I
and stuff,
definitely-
sure. I mean,
I definitely wouldn't compare it to Wuling City because that shit's fucking
dude,
insane.
Wuling City is massive.
My
I love
biggest,
Wuling
180
City.
something chests, by the way.
my
Yeah.
biggest crash out was the fact that you got 50 Ouroboros from an important quest, and I was like, I get fucking was it 1/10 of a poll basic, or was it 1/10? Oh, fuck. I'm not good at math, but it was like 1/10 from a quest, and I was like, I get more polls from opening a fucking chest than I do for doing a goddamn quest that like in a specific quest of the story, and I was just like,
Yeah.
fuck.
I mean, I do think it's.
But
I think you mentioned this earlier, but a lot of the pulls in this game are just so spread out
Yeah.
across it that like
Mhm.
you do end up getting a lot. It's just you have to do so much different shit to actually get it.
It's like unsatisfying.
It's like
almost.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people.
well,
I in like a quote for someone else that I've heard from,
Mhm.
it is backloaded.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I think like there's is the juice worth the squeeze, and that's based off of how the players feel, and like resistance is good, and I love resistance in a game. That's why like Elden Ring is so popular. But there's a level of resistance that's acceptable and then non-interactable.
Mhm.
With I'll use Wiwa as an example in Wuwa. It is a just an unfun, annoying experience. And there's a substantial amount of polls locked behind it, but I just stopped interacting with it. Same with the TOA. I was just like,
Yeah.
it's such an unfun experience. Even though I'm missing out on a substantial amount of polls, I'm just not going to interact with it. And then the thing is, you're going to be like later down the line, like, oh, I have no fucking polls. I have to spend money and stuff like that because you're not interacting with these unfun game modes. And I think we're at
I
a
mean-
point with the community, or with like I think Gotcha as a whole, where players are kind of tired of just doing annoying mini games or game modes for polls. They want something more, as in like, medals or skins or other stuff.
Mhm.
You could say the same thing about original Arknights, though, where, when you are trying to pick up your polls, sure, you have Annihilation every week, but the vast majority of what you're going to get is from doing event stages, doing main story
Mhm.
stages, IS, RA. Like, you have to do a lot of stuff in order to get your polls together. And we talk about, oh yeah, you can complete a stage really quick. That's ignoring reading. Like, reading each stage is usually about an hour's worth of time, especially in the
doesn't
newer
read.
chapters. Ian don't read. And then completing IS, like, that's multiple days of progress usually to complete an IS like track. So I feel like, yeah, it's a bit more consolidated because Arknights is not an open world game, but it's the same mentality, I believe.
Yeah, I think people. It's kind of funny in a weird way. Is people like to get lost in the games and stuff, and it's like in Arknights, it's like, oh, I just have to click on the screen to get over here. Versus Enfield's like, oh fuck, I have to walk over there to open that chest, and you actually physically
Yeah.
get tired because you're like, I have to walk over there, and you just trick yourself into not walking over there. Like, fuck it, I don't care, and shit, I'm not walking over there and stuff. It's kind of funny.
That's legitimately the big problem for me is like, okay, if I just was able to teleport directly to where I needed to go for all my dailies and all of my weeklies, uh, yeah, it would mean I'm logged in for less time, but it also means I'm actually going to do them more often.
Yeah, and we'll have to like. I think polls being so sporadic, we'll see about 1.1 as well. To see how spaced out everything is, because that's it. That's the what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, there's so much shit to do in 1.0, but once you catch up, you've caught up, and now you're on 1.1. You're in your medium-sized map, and you get to go explore it. Let's see how many polls you get, how much time you really invest, and how much of a drain it really takes. Do the rewards feel as
Yeah.
spread out as it feels in this game? Like,
At,
It probably won't
At-
because it's just a single area.
yeah,
yeah.
Well,
At the end of the
while
day, I think what
1.0
really
was like 7 areas total.
Yeah. I think what really matters is the long-term pull economy,
Mhm.
especially now that the patch
Mhm.
itself is going to be shorter and there's two characters. Because, like, it's fine if you give players, 45 days to explore the entire base game and you give them, enough to guarantee two limited characters or whatever.
Mhm.
But if that's just a 1.0 thing and everything after is going to be just as slow without the payoff of it being, backloaded, then I could see it definitely all being a problem.
Oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
So,
what's the word I'm looking for? Damn, I had a train of thought and now I lost it. Someone else talk. What talked?
New enemy designs.
What was I gonna say? But yeah, the polls
just think.
we'll have to see. Oh yeah, I got my train of thought. It came back, goldfished out. I base my polls off of month by month because if you think about, you have weeklies, you have monthlies, you have your dailies
Mhm.
and stuff. I hate this theory of like we'll base it off of the patches because the patches change all the time. The time, how much of a time window the patches change, how many characters are in the patch. It's all random. If you base it by month, it's a lot more understandable, especially when you base it off of how many characters you're getting per a year. Which fucking I don't know. Based off their own rate, it's supposed to be like 20 something characters a year based off of what they've shown us so far. So it's like, but my number, I would say like it's a number for polls, but I would think the best case scenario is you should be able to get every character with enough polls plus the weapons. But I think let's say it's a character runs for 15 days, let's say, so 2 characters a month, you should be able to get at least 1.5 of another character, where you can every other month get both characters basically, and then the other half of that is you getting one character missing out on one and stuff.
Yeah.
I think
I personally, I feel like with how gacha games are nowadays, 1.5 is not likely, but the kind of thing I'm hoping for is just if there's 2 characters a patch, I feel like we should be able to get one of them. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If you can't even know, if you don't get enough pulls to guarantee one character plus their weapon, that's a scenario where it's like that's bad. That's
Well,
just fucking
see,
bad.
the weird thing with weapons though is that if you go to 120, like full pity, that's not enough to get a weapon.
No.
So no, it's not guaranteed.
Unless if you get really lucky with extra 6 stars.
Yep.
They changed. What? Did they
Yeah,
change the
just
math?
like the raw conversion, you don't get enough. So it's definitely
Not
awkward right now.
to clear, it's not enough to do a full 80 weapon pulls.
Oh.
is
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
think
yeah.
we're
That's what I
saying.
mean. A full 80.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because every 6-star is basically 110 bull.
Yeah.
Not quite
Yeah.
even. It's actually just under that.
I'm hoping when I do pull my Arknight's luck carries over to Enfield because fucking sit pretty. Fucking.
You just gotta wait for the ammo operators to come out.
I don't need to wait. I just get every character. I haven't missed a character yet. It's been fucking 60.
I know this is a little bit too idealistic, but it would be really nice if the game could have the same economy that the OG Arknights did. Because like in the OG Arknights, like I quit that game in September of 2023, and I was able to log in for 8 months after I quit and get every single character that released, just with the leftover currency that I had. And it's like, well, I don't expect Enfield to be that generous. It would be nice if it was in at least a somewhat similar ballpark where you could just get characters and actually experience the game.
Yeah.
Especially even more so because a lot of this game is the factory. So it's like the characters themselves are just kind of there as like an added, this is how we're making money kind of thing. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird because the factory is carrying the game, but they're pushing the characters as if like how mainstream gacha games push characters.
Yeah.
But it's like you can't really use the characters for nothing right now because there's nothing really too enjoyable to use the characters with. So you're kind of like, all right, guys. Well, if you want us, you want us to fucking really pull for the characters, you got to make some enjoyable ass end game content so I can use the characters in there. Because right now, people are just pulling for aesthetics, which is what I'm pulling for, which is why I haven't pulled because I don't really.
Which is why I'm interested in these new enemy types they showed. We have a Minotaur with a rocket launcher.
Pretty cool.
And a crane with literal cranes.
Yeah.
I feel like there's some interesting mechanics they could do there, and I'm hoping they'll finally make use of like actual elemental affinities which are in the game, but they don't mean anything because everything has the exact same amount of resistance as everything else. So I'm hoping we get more of that. Sorry, minus the flamethrower guys. I believe that's the only one.
No, the slimes in Wuling have cryo resistance.
Oh, do they? Okay.
I believe they also have electric resistance, but I can't remember.
Fuck, do slimes have cryo resistance? I feel like that's the one thing they shouldn't be resistant to. What?
Yeah, really.
Because cryo, unfortunately, is just water. It's the same thing.
I feel like they should be resistant to
You'll
fire.
understand once you get to Wuling.
Oh, fuck you. So yeah, look at this. So like March 29th is when all these narrative stories are available. The Grotto Survey, the Red Knight, the Cleanse and Rinse. So does that mean we're not getting this new zone until March 29th? And then the survival trainings are April 9th.
What new zone are you talking about?
Or the events. Did I say a zone? I think I meant events.
Oh. Yeah, then the March 29th will definitely be on March 29th.
Okay, so because I'm just looking here. I'm looking at
they're spreading it out so we're not like doing all the content in one day.
It's true, and they're gonna roll it back probably. But let's see. During the event, let's see. Quietly flows the spring guide event. While during the event is the area in the region of Wuling. Complete event missions such as unlocking TP points and opening protocol crates to earn rich rewards.
It's the same thing as the Wuling current event.
Yeah, that's just the explore it kind of thing, I think.
Yeah, explore it, unlock stuff.
Zone
You just get
4,
rewards.
edge space salvage.
I'm
So-
personally
yeah, that's
excited
a-
for Edge
that's a
Space
version
salvage,
release.
but
Okay. Okay, so March
So
19th.
basically,
Yeah,
first
spacing-
half of the patch, we get the new region, the story, the etch space update, and then the supply exploration event.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're gonna get Umbral and then the power washing one, I think, and some of the other stuff.
Yeah.
as someone who's played a lot of Power Wash Simulator, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I really wish they would bank into the what's what we're looking for. Did I duplicate these? Let me see here. Oh, we already talked about that one. Okay. I really wish they would bank into the Orcs Must Die style of gameplay they have set up right now with the tower defense, because it literally is just like
That'd
it,
be pretty neat.
and it's made for it.
I'm glad we're getting some more.
True.
I saw that they showed some more, and there's some new defense towers, but I'm still sit here and I'm like, give me that as a regular thing. That would make a perfect annihilation mode if you just created a 400 enemy like multi-wave mode.
Yeah,
Like, I would love
that's
that.
what I was saying. Like, I would love a consistent tower defense mode that just keeps.
But
Although
instead, they're all one and
resetting.
done.
Well, the thing
Yeah,
is that
that's
you
so
guys have to
sad.
consider the general populace. Like, we can just go look at Kyostin V alone. All three of his videos about the tower defense have over 100,000 views.
Oh,
And it's like,
my.
yeah, that
crazy.
means that everyone is just going out and looking for guides for that kind of thing and not actually participating in it
It's
themselves.
so easy though.
Well, it is understandable.
hard.
It's understandable because, to be honest, it's kind of like hyper limiting and super kind of like not fun in a weird way, like how limiting it is. Oh shit!
Yeah,
I guess if
a
you're
little
going
bit.
into it not wanting to learn how to do it, sure.
Yeah,
But
See, upper monument.
I can say that I hope they don't go like entirely the Orcs Must Die route, because Lua already has that, and I've been spending too much time in that in Lua.
Oh yeah, they have
I,
that.
don't know, I love the tower defense, so I just want more of it at the end of the day.
I agree.
The-
I agree. I want more.
This might be a kind of a hot take,
Wait.
but
Oh,
I feel
go
like the
ahead.
tower defense would have been a lot better if they literally just one-to-one copy Dark Knights. Like,
Yeah.
they should have just give us our operators in Enfield, stick them in a square, and have them say, all right, you're in this square, and if you're Levitain, you get to swing your sword, and that's what you do in your square. It's like,
Or protect this zone or whatever.
I personally don't really vibe with the literal tower defense part of it,
Yeah.
because our characters don't feel like they're doing anything in it.
Yeah. Doesn't.
So
I
I don't know.
I will say I think the auto mode is kind of like why bother? I would much rather they create the tower defense with active gameplay built in, like you need to like go, hey, here's where I put my defense towers, and then I'm going to rotate my own units and actually fight enemies based off of where the like elite enemies are spawning. I would have more
Yeah.
fun with it, I think, in that case, but at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of people in chat who say they don't like it, which maybe that's why they don't want to go down that path. I don't know.
The other thing they could have done is literally made an actual tower defense where there are towers and you have to defend them. Like, here's this building, make sure the enemies can't get to it.
Oh yeah. Why we-
And then you
Yeah,
just run around with your
towers don't
operators
take
killing
damage.
things. Yeah.
they can get
so-
stunned, but they don't take damage.
Yeah.
It is funny that we have these random made up towers that we can't let the enemy beat versus just going, hey, don't destroy this housing building over here in this fucking
Right.
this outpost we have built, you know? Just
Yeah,
don't let them-
we literally have this like giant kitchen here full of like food stores and everything else, but instead this random ass thing in the center of the place. Yeah, go for that instead.
Yeah, I want you to
I'll-
walk by
I'll
everybody.
I'll be honest, one of the things that I want them to update about it is just allow me to put towers on top of buildings.
Mm, yeah.
That would be neat.
I
yeah.
tried to do that a few times. I'm like, God damn, why can't I put this here?
Yeah. let me
No,
see.
I like it, but I agree. There's a lot of improvements they could make to it, but
Mhm.
Yeah, I almost
Yeah.
feel like it's just a little bit too limited right now. Like there is potential for it, but like why I basically just have like a lot of questions about it. It's like why are we locked to these specific areas on these specific lanes when we're defending a whole outpost? And like why is it just at the outpost? Why can't we do tower defense stuff out in the open world? And like things like
it would
that.
make a
It's
great
like
open world, just like random encounter. Like if you hit, like
exactly.
touch a piece of effluvium, there's random effluvium events that you can touch and fight a bunch of enemies. Make
So-
that into tower defense.
Something that would
Yeah.
have been cool, I think, is if the entrance, for example, to the stockade in Jingyi Valley was like the entrance that you put turrets outside of it,
Mm.
and try not to let them get into the area at all.
Okay.
And I like remember I remember this being like a really early trailer for the game. But like I remember the Endman going up to one of those like blue things that you can find on the ground that spawns enemies and just like slapping down like a bunch of giant turrets and that's how they beat it. And like
Yeah,
I
you
don't
can
know
still
what
do that.
happened
You
to
can do that
that.
You
right
could
now.
still do that.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
the issue is
unstable
what's
I
the
feel like I'm
point when you can just fight the enemies?
I feel
Yeah.
like I'm thinking of something else though. I'm not talking about like slapping down like the gun turrets that you use in the tower defense mode. I'm talking like I specifically remember the Endman summoning the turrets that you spawn in like the prologue.
Oh,
And
yeah, those
I
aren't in
don't
the game
remember
right
what
now.
trailer that was in, but I specifically remember seeing that and it was at an effluvium thing. So
I don't
Could be a
remember
future
those
thing they
big
haven't
ass
put in the game
turrets.
yet.
yeah, but I don't know.
Mm.
I could
It
definitely
was in
tell
the
you
like it-
intro.
but yeah,
big ass
Maybe.
turrets outside of the video.
Well, one of the big things that you can do right now to speed up like essence farming is you can put turrets around where the essence enemies spawn in. But again, I just kind of sit there and I'm like, why would I bother when killing them with my just normal team doesn't take very long anyway?
I actually use those as like tests for my team.
Right.
Sure.
I mean,
The towers would screw up my testing.
So, based off of what they've shown us and the dates they've shown it for when things coming out, because like the latest I think was what, like April 9th or something like that, for the last thing dropping. I don't know why they're not showing it in a timeline like they just did for 1.0, where you could go in game and see the timeline of like it's like a calendar and stuff. I wish they would have shown it like that. But April 9th is when the last event thing comes out, which means probably by end of April is when 1.2 will drop, like beginning of May, based off of that. So we'll give it 2 weeks from the last event, my assumption. So I would say a month and a half, so about 45 days probably for this event as well. I'll be honest, or for this
It'll
for
likely be
1.1.
45 to 50.
Yeah, I want to say 45 days, which means they're either my number is 45 days based off of the fact that we have 45 days in our last pass, or the pass we currently have right now. And based off of like usually it's like 2 weeks after the last content drop, which is March or April 9th. So, could be end of April, about a month and a half. That means okay, we get 2 new characters, so they're either probably going to extend the time for the characters to be like 22 days per banner. But something's got to change. Either instead of the patch being 45 days long, it's going to be 30 days long because you're going to have 2 characters each at 15 days. Or you're going to have those characters be 22 days each and go up to 45 days for a patch.
Yeah.
It's one of the two. It's 30 days or it's 45 days, and no idea.
It'll likely be 45, so the banners are not 2 weeks long.
Or they do a third. No, then so Kinohara, they're probably not like they would have told us by now if they're going to do a third rerun on a banner like this close till like
Yeah,
the
they
next
would have
patch.
said that in the stream, I think.
And if they start doing reruns now, we're fucking fist fighting. Like I ain't gonna lie, like I might have to fly down there.
There's no reason they should be doing reruns right now.
They're doing reruns right now.
I might have, especially with their fucking economy, I might have to go watch. I might have to go take a fucking flight down to China and talk with these guys because fuck, like
Again, that's where if they start doing reruns at any point, I feel like no matter what they do, it's going to cause some problems because you're going to have people who go, "Well, I want this old character I missed, but I also want these new characters. What do I use my polls on?" And the only way that they can solve that is if the reruns also put them into the basic banner.
yeah.
I think.
If they, I hope they don't do it. I hope they add the limited characters after a year or whatever into the fucking standard pool, something like that. But if they go with the mainstream's doing, where they just rerun the characters every fucking couple days, I will just not give a fuck about the gotcha at all. I will. Yeah, I think you can't have this weird Arknights mixed with fucking Genshin Impact gotcha system as it is currently, and not put characters into the limited, because then it's just not fucking fun at all. You're doing reruns
You mean
and
it's
there's
basic?
no yeah in the basic, like you're doing reruns. There's no 50-50. You get the character at 120 whatever, but the economy barely supports that and stuff like that because it's spread so thin. That's just gonna kill any want or need. It's not even gonna boost people buying or spending money. It's just gonna be like, I'm just not gonna fucking interact. That's just gonna shut people down completely. So they have to, like I said, they have to make a decision. The gotcha has not been decided. I'll be honest. There's no way this is the gotcha. It just does not
Well,
feel
long
feasible.
term.
Long term,
Yeah, like right now it works fine because we have a limited number of characters and the releases are relatively slow.
Yeah.
Especially compared to original Arknights, where you get usually 2, like 3, you usually get like 4 characters per banner in OG Arknights. But
Yeah.
a lot of those are going into the basic polls, so it's fine. We're going to need that here eventually at some point.
I don't know how they're going to do
I mean,
this long term.
the guy in chat had a good idea where after a rerun, that's when they're added just straight up to the standard pool.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah,
But then that would
But I
require
also-
enough characters existing for reruns, so...
Right. And the bond quota AIC exchange, we don't have any 6 stars that you can just buy outright, which,
Yeah.
again, is a thing in OG Arknights. That probably should be a thing at some point, too.
Yeah, like the bond system just doesn't. It's not. It's a frail aspect of what it used to be in Arknights, and the gotcha system is just non-viable for long term unless they have to do something. They haven't told us. They don't.
Yeah.
I don't get it. They do not talk to the community because I don't think they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They have like 5 roads they're looking down, and they're gonna just fucking send them all out and see which one everyone walks down and go, we're doing this now, guys. And that's what it.
See, I don't even know if that's the case, because what I think they're doing is I think they are trying to tread a very, very fine line between being as generous as they were in the original Arknights and then copying Hoyo, basically.
Yeah.
And currently, once we go into 1.0 and like after the honeymoon period of the phase is over, I feel like the game is going to end up leaning way more towards Hoyo than it is towards Arknights. And that's going to be a problem.
That's how I see it right now.
Yeah.
And that's what will make me quit if they really lean more and more into that, because I don't like that system.
It feels like we're leaning into the worst aspects of those games as well. It doesn't feel like because I'm not going to shit on these fucking. They have some good aspects to them as well, but we're taking like the worst ones and implementing them, and how it's leaning. It's not. I don't like it. It's not good. And this is my. I'm pulling a fucking toe. This is my. I see the future, and if this happens, we're fucked. I hope it doesn't happen, but it's not looking good. You can do the whole they're hypergriff, trust them, yes, but they're doing a lot of fucking Mahoyo right now, so they're doing a lot of Kuro,
I think for now we just have to wait to see what 1.2 and 1.3 has to offer, and then go from there.
Yep.
Yeah, that's when we're gonna get a pace down. Is probably by 1.3 is when we'll
especially
figure out.
1.2 with how big they said the patch will be.
Yeah, we'll have to see about
Honestly,
that.
my biggest concern with the gacha right now is that on paper, like if you're someone that spends money, right?
Mhm.
The game on paper is actually better significantly than Hoyo and Kuro games.
Oh yeah.
Because like if you're starting from 0 and need to go all the way to 120 pity, it is cheaper by I think like $60 than if you had to go all the way in a Hoyo game.
If you're
But
any spender, it's really good.
right, but if the free to play pull income doesn't compensate for the fact like or how do I word this? Like if the free to play income is lowered because of the fact that if you spend money it's more generous, then all in all it doesn't end up being generous.
Yeah.
So I don't know that like that's my main concern because I don't mind spending on gacha games. I don't mind that at all, and in fact I do. I spend
Yeah.
on pretty much every gacha I play. But I spend on the ones that deserve it and I feel and make it feel like it's worth it for me to do so.
Mhm.
And like if the game itself isn't being friendly to its players, then why would I be friendly back to it? Is basically my mindset.
Oh yeah.
And right now that's definitely a concern. So, but on the other hand, if 1.1 is good and 1.2 and we get a good amount of currency, then it's like, okay, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We just don't know. Because right now, at least, our events are giving you 2 pulls. And it's like, wait a minute. What's going on there?
Yeah, it's fucked. And I'm just, it's so thin, it's like unsatisfying. That's why they need a secondary reward that's satisfying, like skins or backgrounds or themes, because having the poll so thin across the board, you're like, I spent 20 minutes to get like a poll and a half. That does not
Yep.
feel good at all. You need a secondary reward in there, which is like, the medals and stuff like that, you could say, but not a lot of people are medal hunters or achievement hunters and stuff.
If you want my opinion as a returner to Lua, it feels equally as bad in Lua
Yeah.
when it comes to like getting polls.
Yeah.
Because right now, I even had 17,000 from when I stopped playing last, and I still can't guarantee a weapon in their character.
Yeah, the saving grace I would say is the fact that you don't really need a weapon or duplicates in this game, so it's like thank God, and they don't feel good that you even get them. But it's like if they
Yeah.
so if they start like it's like good, it's good right now, but if they start going down the line because they're already going down the line of Mahoyo stuff like and curl shit like everything else, start doing that. Ease us into it. You don't throw a frog in a boiling water. You slowly fucking cook them, and it's one of those if they slowly eases into that, it's like fuck, dude. Like, god damn it.
The something mentioned in chat here is obviously we have the 6-month clairvoyance on EN when it comes to what's coming out because CN has already gotten it 6 months ahead of time. But in CN, based on conversations I've had with players over there, they usually have about the same amount of time as we are getting with Endfield, where it's usually they announce it maybe 2 weeks in advance at most, and that's the amount of time you have to prepare for the next patch, or you just have to have expected it and planned around it. So that I think that also helps paint a picture a bit on like why we might be feeling this more as players of these older games.
So why
There,
Wygant brought up studying the habits of hypergriff from OG Arknights may reflect Enfield. And so that's what I have done is I've looked at least my experiences with Arknights, and then I've looked at the history of Arknights videos or whatever and stuff. And I've seen what hypergriff does there. And then I'm looking at what they're doing currently with Enfield. And this doesn't feel like hypergriff with Enfield. It has it a little bit it does, but it has a lot more of the Mahoyo and Kuro in it. And you've seen the products they have right now, where the only content to their games is the community, the CC's
characters.
PvPing each other basically right now. You could do or the content really is you pull in the character, you do the main story, which at least with Wua, they have a good execution of the main story, even though the story is not a story at all. It's just, but it's a good execution. And then you do mini games, and that's it because nothing else is enjoyable. But that's what I hope we don't go down as well with Enfield. But it's just how they're acting, how they're treating Enfield. They're treating it how Kuro treats and MiHoYo treats their games to an extent, not fully, but they have that flavor to it, which is worrying.
Yeah, I would say it's definitely a flavor right now. I'm not gonna be like, Hypergriff is the next Hoyo Kuro company, but
Yeah.
the flavor is there. It's like, it's a little bit concerning, and it's like, I'm hoping it's not that, but it is a possibility. So it's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I'm worried about. I'm not predicting the future.
Yeah.
I'm not pulling that moment where I'm like, I know how this is going to go, because we saw that went down with the other people, but that tried to do that. But I'm just pointing it out. It is a reference that has to be pointed out. Because if you it's good to have faith in the company that produced a good game, but you cannot ignore what they have been doing recently with the game as well.
Mhm.
Yep.
All we can do right now is just continue to reply to those surveys, continue to make your opinion known, and hopefully they'll change things for the better. But that's all we can do.
Yeah. Is there anything else we want to talk about? I know we're at 3 hours basically. Or
Yeah, it's been quite a while.
we've been
Yeah, I have other things I want to talk about, but I think 3 hours is we should probably get ready to wrap it up here.
See.
All right.
I agree.
Well, it was nice chatting with all
Yeah, it
y'all.
was nice chatting with y'all. I appreciate y'all having
Yeah, it
you
was
on.
great.
Agreed.
Before I send y'all out. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up now, guys. We've been yapping for 3 hours. It's been fun. I actually completely lost track of time because this was actually a really fucking enjoyable conversation. Because holy shit, 3 hours went by extremely quickly, honestly.
Yeah, really.
Really, even though I have to apologize. I was very doomery, in this fucking podcast, so I'm gonna get my fucking ass ate. But yeah, that's gonna fucking hurt tomorrow. But those are just worries, and that's Valley 4 worries. But yeah, but anyways, I appreciate having everyone on. Soul, Fleur, Drac, y'all have been a blast to talk about. It's been really fun, honestly. If you want to go give them some subs or love, they're down below in the description, and they'll also be in the comment section right after this stream ends, so you can go give them some subs and give them some love because they've been great, and I'd love to have them on again, 100%. Kinohara says,
to
"Get the
see
fucking wooling." Shut the fuck up, Kinohara.
Don't
But
worry,
that's
I'll
it.
poke him later.
I appreciate
He's almost there. He's so
I'm
close.
so close, and I'm just
So
gonna
close.
not. It's like chapter 8, finishing chapter 8. I'm just not gonna do it for 2 months. But yeah, that's it.
Please no.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all. Everyone, have a good one. See
You
y'all
too.
around.
Thanks
Thank you
for
very
having
much.
us on.
Yeah. That was fun. Let me go back to me. Hold a second. Oh wait, I have to do the thing. I have to do the turn my fucking camera on and then turn it back off. Wait, no, turn the camera off and then turn it back on. Give me 1 second. It's gonna catch itself. I gotta like. It's weird. It doesn't like it in OBS. It's gonna be a second. Video capture device. Deactivate. Reactivate. Boom. There I am. Holy fucking shit. That was actually really fun. That was probably one of my favorite discussions. And I'm late, great. As it is what is laughing, as what it is. That was really fun. Soul, appreciate you. That was a blast. I am gonna get fucked for being that much of a doomer though. 100 fucking percent. I stand by what I said in the moment until I get corrected, and then I will fold like a motherfucker. Yeah, I'm a bitch ass motherfucker. So, those are my worries though from Valley 4. I haven't made Wooling. Fuck it, put that over there. It was fun. Yeah, it was great. Fucking Fleur had some fucking great minds, like insight and stuff like that. It was really great chatting with him. It was super chill. I'll be honest. I looked at the time and it was like 3 hours, and I was like, "Holy fuck!" Time flew by. Oh my god! It's like 8 p.m. Holy shit! Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you, Fleur. Appreciate you. I love to chat with you again. It was really good chatting with you, honestly. Yeah. But that's it. I know everyone. This was the Doomer podcast because of me. I was being the Doomer, and I accept that role. And we'll see how we'll see how that goes down. But it was still really fun. We got to talk about kind of everything I wanted to talk about. 1.1, my thoughts on it, how I felt about it. And then we sort of touched on team building, honestly. It wasn't too terrible. It wasn't too bad. It was pretty good. I liked it. But yeah. My thoughts though are gonna be I'm gonna have to experience 1.1. I'm gonna have to experience it, honestly. Be the devil's advocate? Yeah. I think there's a lot of issues with the game. I think this game needs a community. And no, I'm not going to be. I know that's like, I'll be the lead of the community. Just trust me, guys. I'll be the man. No, fuck that. But I think this is the style of game that needs a strong, tight knit community. Even though that will probably turn into a fucking shithole, as it always does with every gacha community. I think it's got good bones. It's got no soul. It's got a lot of content, but it needs to be more fleshed out. Still needs a good fucking end game. And where the fuck are my 5 stars and 4 stars? God damn it! But that's it, pretty much. Anywho, also, this coming week, I believe I will do a stream where I just play the game and I drag random people into the Discord that are in the Discord into a chat and just chat with one viewer at a time and just get the viewer opinion on Endfield. Because getting a bunch of content creators up here is really cool because they're content creators. But they're content creators. They're not, you know. So I think I will start dragging random people onto the server, onto the live streams and just chat. Hopefully they don't say slurs because that will be really awkward. But the average Joe, I think that will be good to get their insight on it. I think it'll be fun. And obviously I'll play more Endfield. I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna play Arknights. I'm so far behind in Endfield. And they're already talking about the next patch and I haven't even made the ruling. So yeah. Anyways, that's it. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all having on. Go fucking. Y'all been great. It was really good chatting with y'all. Y'all brought up some really good fucking points in chat. Go outside and touch some grass. I don't care if it's fucking 3 a.m. You go step outside and find the nearest screen. You just fucking touch some grass. Drink plenty of fucking water. Stay healthy. Get some good night's sleep. Get restful. And that's it. Anyways, all of y'all have a good one and